Wow. Planetary Defense System, Coordination Office, Near Earth Objects, NEOs, NEOs. Whoa. Y'all see that new Matrix, man? Yeah, man, I feel you. Hey, shout out to Sophia Stewart. Aqua Sophia Stewart. Let's go. NEOs are asteroids or comets or presters. Bang. Let's go. Orbit the sun like planets, but their orbits can bring them into Earth's neighborhood. Within 30 million miles of Earth's orbit, planetary defense is applied. Planetary science to address the NEO impact hazard. NASA, oh boy, established the Planetary Defense Coordination Office to manage its ongoing mission of planetary defense. The PDCO provides early detection of potentially hazardous objects. Y'all see that movie, Don't Look Up or something like that? Their chief, leader in chief of the country, saying, "Don't look up, man. Yeah, I know you see that thing by the moon." Everyone's asking, "What's that?" "Oh, it's a planet." "Don't look up," they say. Don't look up and see the NEO. Early detection of potentially hazardous objects, the subset of NEOs whose orbits predict they will come within 5 million miles of Earth's orbit and of a size large enough to cause significant damage on Earth, tracks and characterizes PHOs and issues warnings of possible effects of potential impact, studies strategies and technologies for mitigating PHO impacts, and plays a lead role in coordinating U.S. government planning for response to an actual impact threat. Okay. So just know, rest assured, my nuggets, you have a planetary defense system. You have a coordination office. They're going to tell you if there's any imminent threats, no problem. They're reliable. You can trust them. Hell, they even went to the moon, right? Ignition. Let's go. All right. I just want to show you that there's a planetary defense system. Don't be afraid. Don't be alarmed. Don't worry. They're going to tell you when the NEO coming, when the NEO coming. Okay. I want to talk Permian Basin. Yeah, I know. What does planetary defense have to do with Permian Basin? I get it. I get why you might be disheveled a bit, but follow me now. We just popping on. They just now tuning in. Permian Basin, located in West Texas and the adjoining area of southeast New Mexico. It underlies an area approximately 250 miles wide, 300 miles long. All right, approximate 300 miles long, 250 miles wide. Miles. Trust me, this is all I just want to bake your noodle a little bit. And includes the Texas counties of Andrews, Borden, Crane, Dawson, Ector, Gaines, Glasgow, Howard, Loving, Martin, Midland, Pecos, Reeves, Terrell, Uptown or Upton, Ward, and Winkler. The name derives from the fact that the area was down warped before being covered by the Permian Sea. And the subsidence continued through much of the Permian period. Consequently, it contains one of the thickest deposits of Permian rocks found anywhere. Thickest deposits of Permian rocks. So this Permian Basin is a big deal. This is, popping off all these oil fields and all this drilling and all this stuff. And now you get into the fracking and all that kind of stuff, man. So they've been drilling. They even been like horizontal drilling. They said, okay, well, the vertical's not working no more. Let's keep drilling this stuff. Let's start going horizontal with our drills. So what are they drilling? I'm not gonna lie. I'm really, we asking the right questions, not so much so that we can find the answers out, per se, but because the thought process of asking the question, once you begin to ask this, the wisdom, the discernment, should start to appear. You know what I mean? It's beyond trying to prove something to anybody. Right now, we're just doing it for the freedom fighters and the free thinkers out there that just want to keep free thinking. To give you some thought. They want to paint a picture and swipe a brush and say, "This is it. That's it." This is that. We say, "Is it?" We say, "What does Permian Basin have to do with planetary defense?" Huh? Ask away. A question like that will lead to many great checkpoints. What is down warped? It says this area was down warped. Just wonder if we can get some, drop on what is a down warp situation. Down warp, just basic Google. Let's go. Displace. Ooh. Displaced downward so as to form a depression. The landmass is buckled and down warped the continental shell. You know how it is when you drop like a lot of water on some real wood, sometimes it could form like a warped out, bubbling type of situation. So this ain't something you know, ain't normal. Something is displaced. There's a displaced scenario happening with this particular landmass. Okay. The name derives from the fact that the area was down warped before being covered by the Permian Sea, and the subsidence continued through much of the Permian period. Consequently, it contains one of the thickest deposits of Permian rocks found anywhere, although it is structurally a basin in the subsurface. Much of the basin lies under the Llano Estacado on the northwest portion of the Edwards Plateau, which are topographically high on the west and south. It extends across the Pecos River Valley to mountain ranges in both New Mexico and West Texas. I'm just thinking about planetary defense and why and how that would apply to the Permian Basin. I don't think enough discussion goes into the Permian Basin, man. I only started thinking Permian Basin when we started talking, about this situation here, man. Yeah, the good old-fashioned mystery flesh pit. I couldn't leave it alone. Said I'll be back here. I know it seems like a slam dunk of, hey, this is just an art project. What we read, the disaster report, the stuff we got before was so detailed, man. And I get it that there's great movie writers. And, hey, there's, Da Vinci's, Giovanni's, Michelangelo's, Picasso's. I know that there's great artists out there. And let me just tell you, man, if this is all just some art show, popping off in the 70s or whatever the case is, man, like, or I mean, I guess up to 2007, they said was, when this whole disaster happened, people started getting eaten. About 750 people died, over 1,000 people injured somehow by something that appears to be what they're calling a superorganism, at least in the world building world. I'm not here to try to prove innocence or guilty. I'm not trying to really prove that this is not a made-up art project, and I'm not trying to prove that it's reality. I just want to ask a couple questions. I mean, it's real convenient. Let's just get the obvious out the way. It's real convenient that they have, this backstory, this Trevor Roberts, this world building world. They call them world builders. And, I guess it ties into the gamer world and all this stuff. But come on, man. Yeah. I mean, I get that they could build Disneyland attractions, but Managa, you're talking about subterranean situations? Subterranean? Looking like this? I mean, I get it that they have movies and movie sets and yada, 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 and everything we're seeing could just be one big set. I'm not here to make this real or fake. I just want to talk about Permian Basins a little bit and why they've been drilling and getting so much resources out of this area in West Texas, that connects with the New Mexico flow and, all the way to the California flow. So this is a big situation, man. You're talking hundreds of miles, Managa. You're talking a big situation. That's all I'm saying. That's all we saying. When they talk down warped and, yeah, there's definitely a warping, but this ain't part of Trevor Roberts', made up world building world. He's using reality. Here's my main point. I'm not here to prove fact or fiction about this mystery flesh pit. I don't know. I guess the question is, as an artist, a great artist always has a message, always has something deeper. When you look at Picasso, whatever the case is. I mean, even watching, shows like, what's that show with Tom Hanks, the Da Vinci Code. I mean, there's inner maps in the Mona Lisas. Like, there's this deeper meanings behind the art rather than saying, hey, I'm just going to build some type of flesh pit, subterranean attraction thing, and then run with all these stories and all these brochures and all these disaster reports and these letters and create a world. Like, you're saying, okay, these people's job is to literally create a whole world around something fictional. Make it look as real as possible. That seems real convenient when, you want to just throw some stuff under the rug. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that they're doing it in this case. It could just be a world building Trevor Roberts masterpiece. But it's just mighty convenient that they have that out. This world building world, this world building, activists, that they build worlds, and this the one that's blowing our mind. Though we ain't heard of no other world building projects. But what is the message behind the artist, if that's the case? If the mystery flesh pit is just a big world building project, and all that detail, all that art, all them, all that high tech machineries and all the diagrams, all that stuff, even the story itself, that's like a combination of works of art. You know what I'm saying? That's like, you got the best screenwriters that don't come up with stories that great. And then you got the greatest, literal props and, actual set building. It's like so much art coming. That just seemed like a whole lot of art, man. But if it is a masterpiece. I'm gonna go ahead and give Trevor Roberts his props. They say this guy Trevor Roberts created this whole thing. All right, cool. I'm gonna give you your props, Trevor. So what's your point? What are you trying to draw our attention to? What's your meaning? What's your message? Are you bringing in all of this, FEMA and underground organism being sedated by some what's it called, anodyne corporation, keeping this thing sedated, saying that one day it's gonna wake up? Are you passing a message, or is it just completely out of your head bump? More works of art, right? That's the question. Because it's based in reality, you can't dismiss it just as some art shit. It's just like, when they look at the Mona Lisa, they say, well, who is that supposed to be? What is it really? You know, then they find, oh, it might be some type of coordinate, some type of, map, some type of treasure map. It could be all these things. There's a deeper message to it. When something this great as this mystery flesh pit, and if you ain't got no drop on this and you ain't seen the last drop, fall back. We're going to get a little recap. Just know that they're saying it's nothing but a piece of art. It's a world building project, but it's based in reality, which makes it impossible to discount any part or all of it as being a fictional situation. Not when they're calling it the Permian Basin Super-Organism. We got to recon the Permian Basin. I'm talking planetary defense, my nigga, because if there's a giant organism that they're saying the world is in danger of waking up, they might need to have planetary defense. Instead of looking outside for some Neos, they might need to look inside for them Neos. You know what I'm saying? Everything's inverted, man. So now, does this mean if it's an art project that nothing like this exists, that there are no organisms that's popping off? And, like, what are these people drilling for? I guess is my question. I get it. Oil. What's oil? What's oil? Remember last time we were talking about the ambergris and the dragon oil and dragon spittle, right? You just put in dragon oil, whale oil, they call it as well. The whale dragon correlation. We got that before in the script. Yeah, yeah. Then you got this ambergris. But the Chinese called it dragon spittle. Ancient Egyptians burned it as incense. So they said, is it whale waste? Or are you talking about, something connected to something real like dragons? Something about this dragon oil was always hunted. And I always wonder, all this oil that they're drilling, they say it's connected with the dinosaurs and fossils. But when you realize, dinosaurs, well, that's a new title after 1841. Before that, it was just called dragon. That means all these fossils and dinosaur situations they keep implementing into geology are connected with dragons. It's all dragons. Ama is Drakan, Earth, dragon, one thing. Earth is dragon. You can't, it's nowhere. The air is dragon. Every atmospheric phenomena is Drakan. So stop it. You can't get out of it. You're in the frequency of the fire, the water, the elements, man. So, everyone knows of this, right? This dragon energy we're talking about. You're pulling it out the earth. You're drilling for, even horizontally. The oil, or that we use for the cars and the gasoline and all this stuff is coming out the earth. They're saying from these dinosaur fossil, whatever they're talking about, man. All this is dragon energy that they're pulling out, combustible, right? Even ambergris, ambergris. Or gray amber is a solid, waxy, flammable. We're talking dragon, not whale, my night. That gasoline is flammable. You're talking dragon. You're not just talking about dinosaur fossils. Substance of dull gray blackish color produced in the digestive system of sperm whales. Yeah. Freshly produced ambergris has a marine fecal odor. It acquires a sweet earthly scent as it ages, so it starts to smell good with age, commonly likened to the fragrance of rubbing alcohol without the vaporous chemical astringency. Ambergris, we did a whole drop on this, connecting all the way back to this dragon oil and these sperm whales, connecting back to dragons, Managa. And yeah, man, there's something very important about them mining this oil. Everything they're bringing out the earth bone is connected to your ancient love song. Whoa, reports from China suggest ambergris was dried dragon spittle. Uh-oh. Wow, that's out the Smithsonian. Wow. So it's not just a fragrance. Managa, they were hunting dragons. Those whale poachers were originally dragon poachers. They were selling everything to do with these dragons. Part of their rituals, all kind of stuff, man. So, yeah. Some call it the whale vomit. $25 a gram. Hey, that's lower than the cost of melanin, man. Ain't nothing more expensive than the melanin. The Hortus Sanitatis, an encyclopedia of herbal medicines, published in 1491. So this Hortus Sanitatis, an encyclopedia of herbal medicines, published in 1491, cited theories that ambergris was tree sap, a type of sea foam, or some type of fungus. In the 12th century, reports from China suggest ambergris was dried dragon spittle. Now, why are they jumping back and forth from whale, sperm whale, to dragon? You know, that's fair. I mean, that should make your noodle. And if they would do that with the whale, what are they doing with our dragon? What's this oil business about? What's this West Texas oil, Permian Basin situation popping off? It's just baking our noodle. I'm not here to prove mystery flesh pit or no mystery flesh pit. Cool, it's a big art project. But what's the artist saying? As an artist, you have a message. I don't know any real artist that conducts their art without any message. A writer has a message, and actors, conveying a message, right? Anyone painting has a message within their painting. It's something deeper. You're telling me Trevor Roberts does all this with no message? Relates it to the Permian Basin for no reason? So that we can write it off and say, it's just a fancy art project, blah, 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 and not be remembered, not be connected with any greater purpose. This looks like a gigantic warning if it's just a gigantic piece of art. But what's he warning about? You know, Mystery Flesh Pit National Park in Texas, one of my favorite national park locations. Did you know that it was an inspiration for the Sarlacc pit in Star Wars? Yeah. Yeah, just a big old art project, man. Nothing to see here, boss. Just a bunch of anatomy out of his mind bone. Yeah, so it says, okay, it seems that this is going to be popular and spread outside my followers, so I will direct you all to Trevor Roberts' Patreon, the creator of this series of images, and mute the thread. Trevor Roberts is creating fictional worlds. Is it just what it is, Manai? Or are they running a play? This mysterious Trevor Roberts, super artist coming out of nowhere, creating a whole world that you can physically, witness, have a whole national park around this thing, have everybody involved in this thing, right? To me, it just goes back to this Permian Basin, man. Let's read a little more about it. The presence of rocks of Permian age was first reported by George G. and Benjamin F. Schumer in 1858 after a study of outcrops in the Guadalupe Mountains. Later, work in West Texas by Johann August Uden and his associates in the Bureau of Economic Geology at the University of Texas contributed to knowledge of the age, structure, and stratigraphy of sediments found in outcrops around its Texas margin. When the Permian Sea retreated southward, it left the Permian Basin area with the restricted outlet. This resulted in an inland sea where evaporation greatly exceeded fluid intake, and a great thickness of evaporate sediments was deposited. One of these was potash, Potash, a critical commodity during World War I. Until then, a product obtained from Germany. Uden's early investigations led the United States Geological Survey to concentrate much of its early effort in the search for potash in this area. What the hell? What the hell is potash? They just say it's a critical commodity. And, you see why we're doing this. We're looking up down warping. All right, it's some type of displacement in the rock formation. Is it displaced? Why? Because of what they say? Or is it displaced because there's something there? I guess the question is the Permian Basin one big ass dragon? Let's just cut to the chase. Is the Permian Basin just one big old dragon? And have they been, mining this dragon? And what I'm saying is this artwork from Trevor Roberts. This artist, Trevor, is he just pointing and putting attention, on this huge situation popping off in the Permian Basin with this displaced formation that exceeds hundreds of miles, 300 miles across, all that stuff. So, all right. What is potash? An alkaline potassium compound. Hmm. Potash. Uses. History. Ancient. So they're connected with fertilizer. They're connected with alkaline. mean, anything that's alkaline, you're just talking that life, right? You know what I mean? You're just talking some life. The mining of soluble potassium salts or potash. Potassium salts. Essential for manufacturing fertilizers required to ensure continuous production of crop. You're just talking life. You're talking alkaline and you're talking fertility and fertilizers. So whatever deposits is coming out this Permian Basin is some type of alkaline fertilizer. All right? I mean, just think about it. Let's go. Continuous production of crops and hence global food security. 2014, potash is mined predominantly in the northern hemisphere, where large deposits occur of this potash. Production tonnage and prices do not take into account the needs of the farmers of the poorest countries. Consequently, soils of some regions of the southern hemisphere are currently being depleted of potassium due to the expansion and intensification of agriculture coupled with the lack of affordable potash. Who knew we needed potash? Maybe go scoop some potash up for Joy World. Shout out to my nuggets. Let's go. Moving away from the mined salts toward locally available resources of potash such as K-bearing silicates could be one option to improve the situation. Overall, the global potash production system and its sustainability warrant discussion. In this contribution, we examine the history of potash production and discuss the different sources and technologies used throughout the centuries. In particular, we highlight the political and economic conditions that favored the development of one specific technology over another. Just want to, get a feel for this potash as we digging on it. And I've never been so interested in the Permian Basin before. I mean, I guess it's just kind of, not in our psyche like that. But all right, so they got a big deposit of potash in the Permian Basin. It was critical during World War I. All right. Udin's early investigations led the United States Geological Survey to concentrate much of its early effort in the search for potash. In this effort, the first commercial deposit was found in New Mexico in 1925. Up to 1967, all 7 of the potash companies operating in the Permian Basin. So they had 7 potash companies operating in the Permian Basin. Companies, man. That's how much potash alkaline fertilizer they got popping off right there. So representing an investment of some 200 million were located in New Mexico. Texas deposits have not been developed because of the more expensive processes involved. So they got some more potash, they just haven't developed, the processes over there yet. But much of the Permian Basin was home to the, here we go, my tongue, I already know you're going to have some indigenous flow. Let's go. So much of the Permian Basin was home to the Comanche Indians until they were finally forced out by the U.S. Army in 1875. Sound like Avatar, right? Then they got all this potash. Damn, so the tribes that were holding down this area got forced off in 1875. Now what? I mean, I always bring y'all back to the Tecumseh War. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so relevant, man. After that 1812 and that continuation of the Seminole Creek Wars, and then you finally kind of had like that, that was like the last hurrah, man. That was our last fight. After that, big areas like this was just giving up. Major checkpoints, you know what I'm saying? Then you got the 1900s, and most of us is born in the 1900s, man. So this ain't that long ago that we had to come up off these areas, man, because of good grasslands. Most of the area was inviting to ranchers and farmers, really. It was inviting, so they took it. They just took it, man. Something, man, just made me want to recon on this Permian Basin. I guess it's just Trevor Roberts and his great art project called The Mystery Flesh Pit. But I think it's more interesting than we think, and I think, Trevor's just drawing our attention over here a little bit. If that's the most I can get out the message, Then I'm going to pass it on, my knocker. I'm going to pass it on to you. We might need to pay attention to the Permian Basin and West Texas. Let's go. Since surface water was almost non-existent, ranchers and farmers drilled water wells to sustain themselves and their livestock, and they often found evidence of oil or gas. The first commercial oil well in the Permian Basin was completed in 1921 in Mitchell County on the east side of the basin, completed at the total depth of 2,498 feet. It was the discovery well of the Westbrook Field. So this was the first commercial oil well in the Permian Basin in 1921 in Mitchell County. Early oil prospecting was started in southeastern New Mexico about the same time as in West Texas. By 1923, it was presumed that the Permian Basin was in the form of an elliptical bowl. All right, so here we go talking about this down warping situation. So, is it down warped, because of what they say, some type of geological situation that naturally occurred, Managa? Is it down warped because there's something there? It's not some hollow bowl, right? They're drilling the shit out this thing. They're drilling and getting all these substances out. It's not just like it's an empty bowl, but there's a depression, right? The subsurface strata dipping from the rim to a maximum depth in the middle. Because of this and the lack of suitable rock outcrops in the interior during the early search for oil, geological survey crews looked for surface anticlines in the Edwards Plateau and the rock outcrop areas west and south of the Pecos River. This method resulted in the discovery of several good oil fields, notably the World Field in Crockett County. All right. And again, these oil fields, what is that? I don't want to just brush over oil fields. Oh, it's just a field of oil. What's an oil field, man? Like, what is it? You know what I mean? You ever just, wondered that? What is an oil field? Damn, the first one that pops up is Permian Basin, right? So I guess we in the right spot. Oil field is an area of land or seabed underlain by strata yielding petroleum, especially in amounts that justify commercial exploitation. Any questions? An area of land that got oil is an oil field. Damn. Is it really? So we just take that and say, all right, cool. Thanks, Oxford. Let's go. How about this definition? A region rich in petroleum deposits, especially one that has been brought into production. Hey, thank you, Merriam-Webster. So a big piece of land that has a lot of petroleum would be called an oil field. How does an oil field work, Manaki? Let's go. I mean, you could watch the animated version. Oil and gas are formed from organic material, mainly deposits as sediments on the seabed and then broken down and transferred over millions and gazillions of years. So, according to science, oil fields form because the oil, from organic material. And I'm just surfing away with you, man. You surfing away with me, man? I don't know where else you're going to talk Permian Basin, so you might as well listen up, man. You might not talk Permian Basin until it's too late. Let's go. So we asked, what is an oil field. Oxford just say a big ass piece of land yielding petroleum, especially if they're going to exploit it. Webster say, yeah, I agree. It's pretty much just a region rich in oil would be an oil field, especially if they want to, go into production. A region rich in oil is an oil field, and the oil fields are formed from organic material. Mainly deposited as sediments on the seabed and then broken down and transferred over millions of years, my nigga. This is my point. If these oils from the oil fields are coming from organic material transferred over millions of years, they start connecting them to fossil fuel, all that stuff. They connect this stuff to the dinos because they're going back millions of years, man. You dig? They're connecting it to the dinos. Richard Owen invented the word dinos. Think about this, man. Managa, think about this, man. Shout out to the homie Lazy. Put together a great, relaxing drum mix, man. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You gonna have to dig on this, man. You got to dig on this like you never done dug on this before, man. I know you ain't talked Permian Basin and planetary defense in a very long time, So Richard Owen coined the word dinosaur, originally dinosauria, in 1841. And it originates from two Greek words, indigenous, terrible, powerful, wondrous, and sauros, lizard. Before 1841, we think people called them dragons. Ambergris, dragon oil, dragon spittle, ambergris. Yeah. Dragon spittle. Oh, wow. All right. Let's just back this whole thing up a little bit. Let's just back it on up. It has at various times been proposed to be a fruit. Oh. Fish liver or a precious stone. Dragon stone. So they get a lot from these dragons, Managa, this resin, this sap, this oil, or spittle. Yeah. Herman Melville wrote that Moby Dick, We done investigated this drop nation, man. Connected it with the Mocha dick, which is, we're just talking dragons, you know what I'm saying? Before they changed it to a whale, it was a dragon, just like Age of the Dragons, this movie, this whole Moby Dick scenario, but they're hunting a white dragon, not a white whale, you know. They changed it to a whale to make it, well, you know, more formidable, you know. It's all about the dragon, man. Yeah. Michael Stoddard, former chief scientist of the Australian Antarctic Program. Well, I want to talk Antarctic a little bit in a second. Says that despite the work of a few isolated ambergris researchers such as Clark, there are large gaps in our scientific knowledge, and he sees little appetite within the scientific community for investigating a phenomenon. Whale biologists will regard it as a kind of oddity, something that's rather nice to talk about now and again, but not really worthy of a great study. See, they downplay reality. They say it's not worthy of great study, which you have to reverse the curse and say it is really worthy of great study, because it connects to your dragons, which is more connected with this oil, gasoline, you know, oil drilling. First of all, we paying what, $5 a gallon in Cali or something like that in LA, you know what I mean? But we got all these mining, we got all this Permian Basin. So what are they really drilling, man? We thinking that they drilling literally for the stuff that goes in our car. Nah, man. They're putting holes in the earth. Look up the fracking, look up all this stuff. What are they really drilling? And are they just drilling or are they managing? And is this what the artist Trevor Roberts is getting to with this whole anodyne and this whole, managing and keeping this super-organism, sedated? They keep pumping them with these sedatives and all this stuff, which reminds me, what are sediments, man? I keep hearing about these sediments. But y'all, okay, are we clear? Are we clear, man? When they keep talking about 100 million years ago, there's this old situation popping off. Oh, we're talking about the oil fields over millions of years ago. These sediments deposited. They start connecting them with dinos. You connect the dinos and say, whoa, that's new. Before 1841, we think people just called them dragons. Before Richard Owen, they were dragons. Before Richard Owen, dinosaur was a dragon. Before Owen, it was just dragon. Get that through your mind, bone. Okay. Follow me now. Sediments. I mean, because these are just terms. We looked up oil field. They say a big old field with hella petroleum. Okay. Why? Like, what is really there that's producing such of this substance called petroleum or oil? And what is that? What is that stuff? What is it really? What is a sediment? Sediment. The matter that settles into the bottom of a liquid. Come on, man. I'm out of here, man. I'm out of here, man. This is all y'all giving us? You're talking in circles, Hijack City. So, hella sediments over millions of years in the Permian Basin. Oil fields, sediments. You're not saying anything. You're just saying stuff. You're not defining what these sediments are. We're not asking the hard questions. We are accepting bullshit science in terms like sediments that are vague, my nigga. Non-descriptive terminology. This is Drop Nation. We can't accept non-descriptive terminologies. You can't just say a bunch of sediments pile up over time, and we ask you what's a sediment. You say, well, that's the stuff that settles to the bottom. The stuff, the matter. Everything's matter, fool. Material deposited by water, wind, and glaciers. Materials. What is the material? What is the matter with you? What are you talking about, man? Sediment is solid material that is moved and deposited in a new location. So something was brought from somewhere else, solid material that's moved and deposited in a new location. These are sediments. Let's talk chemistry. Sediment is any particular matter. Any. So this is as generic as it gets, my niggas. I mean, I'm just talking science, man. You think we over here skating around these hijacks at this point. It's a victory lap. You know what I'm saying? Like, this stuff is making no sense with a dragonfly perspective. But it's making all the sense with a dragonfly perspective. It's making sense, man. The message of the homie Trevor Roberts, man, with the sediment, these sediments in this Permian Basin. What material? What solid material? Is that a descriptor? What is this describing? Solid material. Go. If I say, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when I say solid material? Go. You say, so black stuff. I don't know, like your table, your chair, a dragon. Come on, man. Come on, man. So this settlement is whatever particular, what any particular matter that can be transported by fluid flow, like organic matter, right? Before they said organic matter, we said what's an oil field. Oil and gas are formed from organic material. Here's that word again, material. Material, man. This got me thinking about this. Just this material connected to the worlds beyond the poles, man. But, it's really a poem. Maybe I'll just read a quick poem to these drums, something that we've touched on before. And how y'all doing, man? I'm surfing the wave talking about sediments, Permian basins, and planetary defense, man. How's your day going, man? Y'all want to read this poem? Get it like it's the first time. Only dreams are true. Let's go. We're talking about material. Okay. Clear my throat for this. It's going to get good. Drink my tea. Wow. Only dreams are true. The tangible and real. Because we're asking, is this thing real or not, right? But we have to kind of have a perspective. Love to F. I'm a DOG and any. This is Out the Worlds Beyond the Pole. Get it in the drop library. A Lego. Ahab, for everybody being patient with the website updates. We're closing in on completion and getting things going behind the scenes to relaunch 432thedrop.com. And, again, we're playing with some changes right now. So I appreciate all your patience. And it's all happening. We want to make sure it's really beautiful and, really that destination spot for the drop. So allow the water for you. Mainly, we're making it secure. You know what I mean? So, the main thing is that we are a secure situation. So all praise to Allah. Only dreams are true, the tangible and real, of which our lives are based, was yesterday's ideal, a rosy picture traced by some quaint visionary. Who's the artist, right? Impractical, half cracked, painting his fancies airy, and now it's a solid fact. Whatever we hold stable, dependable, and sane was once a hopeful fable of castles built in Spain. Before the fact, the fancy, before the deed, the dream that builds by necromancy, the hard material scheme. We're talking about solid materials, right? Necromancy means spells, witchcraft. So all your towers that shimmer, your lamps that light the sky were once a tiny glimmer within some seer's eye. Time makes our empire scatter, but we shall build anew, for only visions matter. What's the matter? What's the settlement? It's just the matter. Only dreams are true. Shout out to Burton Braley. And what is the material scheme? I mean, the material scheme to me is that there's a such thing as a particular organic material, to say oil fields are formed from organic material, that can mean anything. To form their hard material scheme would be, oh, here's the Permian Basin and we just drill oil. Oh, here's the mystery flesh pit. It's just some big farce of an art project. They're building a material scheme of an illusion within the illusion. You know what I'm saying? You're already in the matrix. Then they're building, more fictional, applications within this thing. More artificial, We're believing an entire artificial composition, right? We're in the construct. They can throw something like millions of years in front of us connected to dinosaurs, and it's for us to say, oh, you're talking about dragons. And what is the organic material that you guys are harvesting? Not just mining, they're harvesting organic material, my nigga. And let's break it on down, right? They just got minerals. Or, they just have a rich field of petroleum deposits. Hey, it's all good. It's just an area of land. But it's an area of distorted land, of what they call a fair use in your caboose. We're about to, touch on some video on this topic and different things. So, hey, man, you already know, man. Fair use in your caboose, bone, man. Let's go. So we just digging on Permian Basin. We're reading at the first commercial oil well. That don't mean it's not the first oil well. The first one they really made commercial was completed in 1921. So now we can clarify some of the terminology when they're talking sediments. That's just any solid material, man, that's moved and deposited And that solid material could be a big ass dragon. You know what I'm saying? Let's just be real. Sediments is any particular matter that can be transported by fluid flow, which eventually is deposited as a layer of solid particles on the bed or bottom of a body of water or other fluid. Sedimentation is the deposition by settling of a suspended material. Yeah, we're talking materials and we're talking matter. We're talking materials and we're talking Permian Basin, depressions, what they call down warped. And I've never seen that terminology referred to, this land, but I guess it's what they're saying. It's a basin, it's down warped. This got us looking at all these basins a little differently now. What's the code word for large organism, underground? Might be basin, might be Permian Basin. I mean, now that we know, we're just talking dragons. Although it is structurally a basin in its subsurface, much of the basin lies under what is this Llano Estacado. Just for kicks, man. What's the Llano Estacado? Commonly known as the Staked Plains, but perhaps more accurately interpreted as the Palisaded Plains in geological terms, in the southern extension of the high plains of North America, and lies south of the Canadian River in northwest Texas and northeast New Mexico. A high mesa sloping at a rate of approximately 10 feet per mile toward the southeast. So this high flat land, huh? And Manai, do we have to talk about high mesas and flatlands? Or, let's just see what that looks like. When mountains were trees, can you feel the breeze? A silicon crystal umbilical, giant trees severed fro, digital, framer and the shaper, all the maker, fallen forest, fallen angel rapers. Hey, when mountains were trees, right? Remember that? Remember that, Managi? I can't make this stuff up. They talked about high mesas and stuff. When mountains were trees, man. So now we're back to these giant tree stumps. Now we're back home, right? To the giant tree stumps. Okay. Let's go back. Taking my time. Why are we talking about the Llano Estacado again? They brought this up, not me. They brought this up. We're talking about the Permian Basin. Consequently, it contains one of the thickest deposits of Permian rocks found anywhere. Although it is structurally a basin in its subsurface, it's underneath, but much of the basin lies under this high mesa. In the northwestern portion of the Edwards Plateau, which just because it says plateau sounds like another high mesa, which are topographically high. So much of this basin is under a giant tree. Is that what we're saying? In Naga talk, is that what we're saying? This down warped basin in the Permian, once covered by the Permian Sea. Where's it getting the water from? What's popping? structurally a basin underneath subsurface. Much of it lies under the Llano Estacado, which are topographically high. It is distinctly bounded on the north by the southern escarpment of the Canadian River Valley and on the east by the irregular and deeply incised Caprock Escarpment. The western boundary is the Mescalero Escarpment east of the Pecos River Valley of New Mexico. The southern end of the plateau lacks a distinct physical boundary. It blends into the Edwards Plateau and on the Johnson Creek branch of the Colorado River east of the Big Spring is probably best considered its boundary. The Llano Estacado comprises all or part of 33 Texas and 4 New Mexico countries. 33, huh? Covers approximately 32,000 square miles. It's pretty big. It's a pretty big tree, man. A larger area than all of New England. It is part of what was known to early explorers and settlers as the Great American Desert, a semi-arid region with average annual precipitation of 18 to 20 inches. The soil are almost universally dark brown to reddish brown sand. Sound like that red ruddy. Sandy loams and clay loams. Llano Estacado was first described by Francisco Vasquez de Coronado. Here we go. Estebanico. Here we go. You see how relative all that recon we've been doing, man, how it just keeps coming back up, whether it was mounds of trees, you know what I'm saying, or the Coronado expeditions connected with the cities of gold, knowing that Coronado's looking for this Ebola, cities of gold, but we would have to have done all that hours of recon on Coronado. My wave surfers are like, whoa, we just looking into Permian Basins and run right into Coronado. We know they're looking for the cities of gold. We know they're trying to tap into stuff. Now, what did they know about this Permian Basin? What they know about, this Estacado, high mesa? Did they think that there was anything hidden within this high mesa? 1541. All right, so Coronado said, I reached some plains so vast that I do not find their limit anywhere I went. Although I traveled over them for more than 30 leagues with no more landmarks than if we had been swallowed up by the sea, there was not a stone, nor a bit of rising ground, nor a tree, nor a shrub, nor anything to go by. United States Army Captain Randolph B. Marcy, who led an expedition to explore the headwaters of the Canadian and Red Rivers in 1852, echoed Coronado's impressions of the region. It is much elevated, very smooth and level. Whoa. It's hard to have level land on a big ball, you know what I mean? But I digress. We're talking firm fix, you know what I mean? Without a tree, shrub, or any other herbage to intercept the vision, the almost total absence of water caused all animals to shun it. Even the Indians do not venture to cross it except at 2 or 3 places. The total picture of the Llano Estacado is one of a physical isolation. It is cut off from the rest of the high plains by the Canadian rivers. So, kind of reminds me of this desolate land described in the scripture. You know what I mean? How your lands will be this desolation, nothing, right? From the more humid lower plains of the east by the Caprock Escarpment and from arid southwestern New Mexico by the Mescalero Escarpment, it merges directly only with the Edwards Plateau to the south. And here they go, going back to this 70 million years ago situation. So that's their science. and they date it to the Paleozoic era. You know, we're going to run into some dinos, right? But remember, we're just talking dragons. We're just talking dragons. Okay, let's go. Now that our mind bones flowing, you know, we've been talking Permian Basin, how these indigenous folk was forced out by the U.S. Army in 1871. About 40 years later, here they come with the first commercial oil well, 1921. It says all oil fields discovered before 1928 were producing from Permian dolomite or sand from depths less than 4,500 feet. A deep test was started in the Big Lake oil region in Reagan County. And in 1928, a large flow of oil and gas was encountered in 8,525 feet. Fossil evidence, here come these dinos. All right, here come these dragons. Showed the producing section to be of Ordovician age. This discovery greatly expanded the prospects for the Permian Basin's becoming a major oil and gas producing area, but yet we paying $5 a gallon. Make it make sense. However, because of the Great Depression in the 1930s, few locations for deep tests were made prior to 1936. With the coming World War II, the need for oil was urgent and it became economically justified to drill more and deeper tests during the war. Many new oil and gas zones were not only in rocks of Permian and Ordovician age, but also from the zones in each geologic system from Permian through Cambrian and from practically every known type of subsurface trap. Two of the largest accumulations were the Horseshoe Atoll, ATOLL, and the Strawberry Trend area. Horseshoe Atoll is a subsurface accumulation of fossil forest limestone as much as 3,000 feet thick, deposited during Pennsylvania and early Permian time in the northern part of the Midland Basin in West Texas. It is the horseshoe-shaped mass about 90 miles across, 70 miles from north to south. The crest of the atoll is a series of regular hills and depressions. Oil migrated to many of these buried hills and was trapped in the porous rock. Hey, love to yourself. We just talking that primary rock, man. You know, that water springing out of it, man, right? So resulting in a line of oil fields nearly 2,000 miles in length. So if you got porous rock, my nigga, then you definitely got the mem sauce flowing, right? You got that primary water all through there, man. And a whole lot of it. They're getting the alkaline out of it, right? So they're getting that potassium. Let's go. The Strawberry Trend area is located in the region between the south end of the Llano Estacado and the northern part of Edwards Plateau. The producing structure here is basically a fractured permeability trap on a homoclinal fold about 150 miles in length. Oil production is practically continuous along its entire length. Its maximum width is 35 miles. The entire Permian Basin during 1966 produced a total of 607 million barrels of oil, 2.3 trillion cubic feet of gas, for a total of $2 billion. A cumulative total of 11.3 billion barrels of oil has been produced. 11.3 billion barrels of oil. What is oil? What are oil fields? I mean, these are the questions. This combustible stuff, right? They're just pulling it out of Ahab. They pulled all this out of Ahab, right? Intrastate and interstate gas pipeline systems were expanded throughout this area, and Midland, Odessa was the headquarters for the oil and gas industry in the Permian Basin area. All right, so then they, say, all right, some of the more commonly known Permian Basin petrochemical products were synthetic rubber, plastics, emulsion, paints, solvents, food wrappers, nylon, ammonia, all these things, right? But they're not going to tell you really what's popping. But all these uses. In 1992, the Texas counties of the Permian Basin produced over 217 million barrels of oil in 1992. Total production for that region up to the beginning of 1993 was over 14.9 billion barrels, man. We're talking Permian Basin, man. So when they talk mystery flesh pit, you know, and they bring in this whole Permian Basin super-organism situation, and this artist, who's creating this world that's full of, national park situations from the 70s, and he just went all out, man. Got the brochures popping and tourist attraction situation. It's just a big fake world, though, by a world builder. Cool. Then what's his message? The pit is characterized as an enormous subterranean organism of indeterminable size and origin embedded deep within the earth. I mean, something of indeterminable size embedded deep within the earth. Is there any truth to the possibility that they could be mining something in the Permian Basin, not just some, down warped nothing, if there was nothing there, they wouldn't be mining anything. But the fact that they're pumping out billions of barrels, you know what I'm saying? What are they tapping into for real, for real? Could it be something of indeterminable size, embedded deep within the earth, displaying a vast array of highly unusual and often disturbing phenomena within its vast internal anatomy? All right, hey, real or fake? Let's go. In other words, it is a pit whose walls are made of flesh-like substance which goes deep into the earth. So they say, hey, it's a creation of this artist, right? Trevor Roberts. He's gonna take he's gonna put it on his back, right? It is what's called a world building project. World building is a process of constructing a fictional universe. So despite the official looking brochures, it's definitely something that a creative cooked up in his head. Done, right? End of story. They're not asking like this creative, why did he cook it up? What's this message? You know what I'm saying? What was the point? Where's all his interviews talking about this? Hey, I cooked this stuff up, no problem. I didn't have no message. I just did it. I just wanted to do something. Now they just, blaming it on this guy, right? But, all these old brochures were just put together just for that. And these people were sliding into this thing, right? And this is the company they keep mentioning, Anodyne Deep Mining, Earth Mining Incorporation. And, then according to, this whole document here was changed to like the Permian Basin some type of I forgot what they said, Permian Basin and captivity or something like that. We're gonna find out. But they changed the name a little later. Hey, real or fake, man? Real or fake? I don't know. Let's jump into this. And before I do, I want to give special AI, man, to my Nagas who really believe in us, believe in me, man, believe in, just the purpose, the vision. This is just the very beginning. I asked for 10,000, man, to help a Naga build a fence, man. And, we great. We put in an enormous effort, an enormous push, man. My fence building Nagas, Ahab to you. We got real Nagas out here that are real dedicated to seeing something beautiful for us, for our families, for shelter, for safety, man. So this is just to get us started. No way is it gonna, get us all the way there to completion. We're gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to keep going. You know what I'm saying? So please keep going. I appreciate all my Nagas that have not stopped. Know that we're gonna need a whole lot more. You know what I'm saying? And we've gotten many materials. We've gotten all the big stuff we needed. You know what I'm saying? And now we're just getting the lumber and going, my Nagas. So Ahab to my 500 code keepers for your Baruch, Allah, for this wall of protection, blue, purple, red. Imagine our fence painted blue, purple, red. The code keepers, the tent of meeting flow. Allah for our future. Much Ahab, man. One drop at a time is all we saying. So Wilma Bates, she pushed us over that 12,000 mark. Chandra Khan is keeping it going. And my Nagas, we're going to need a serious push to, make another great wave into this. So please, my 500 code keepers, you know what I mean? We're going to need that consistent $20 push, $20 push. 500 times 20 is $10,000 every time. So I know I got my 500 code keepers, you know what I'm saying, that are right here with us, brick by brick, shoulder to shoulder. So instead of putting that dub somewhere else, just please continue to put it right here. And, with that $20 for my 500 code keepers, we're going to keep having that $10,000 push we need to continue to buy more materials and to be in a great position to build. And from the fence comes, getting our well going. From that, we're talking about our electricity or solar panels and all that stuff. So, we have a vision. Please continue to be supportive to the cons, man. And Ahab the Chandra Khan, Wilma Bates, my Aqua, always supportive. All the anonymous supporters, man, Lloyd, Art Scott, all of y'all, you know who you are. Contessa Taylor, Dave Wixon, Gavar, Eric Mays, you already know it, man. Ty Battle, Chauncey Brown, Aretha Wright, Sanae Gleason, you already know it, man. Casey Reed, all my anonymous Nagas, please continue to contribute to the flow. And if you're checking in at 432 to drop, we're over here getting wavy, man. So my Pack 1 is now available, man. Get your pre-orders popping off and be the first in line, man, when the official electric guitar shaped flash drive comes in with all of Five Eyes music. You know what I'm saying? This is our tribal anthem. Over 50 beautiful tracks throughout the years of my bro just staying in the studio and just keeping the tribal flow going, really sparking this entire tribe up music genre, you know what I'm saying? So you want to get the best tribe up music, the best of the best, my Naga, then you tap in to Five Eyes Molly. It's our first official launch, man, from our drop artist, man, and Five Eyes Ma deserves, man, everything, man, that he's getting all the support. So you can get it right out the drop shop. Yeah, this is one of the new strudels from Five Eyes Ma. Everything's in 432 hertz, man.
Try to stop me, let me show you
Let's
what I
go.
do. Root, I stay rocking, and you know I
Let's
stay
go.
strong. Flow like water, like milk. Try to stop my river, try to stop my river. Fuck that, damn, got the band coming through. They don't understand, got the man coming through. Said we came this land like the man on the moon. All these lies got me mourning till noon. Top of the soul and I'm shining like two. I'ma come through and I'm shining deja vu. And they got a problem with me, that's the truth. And they wanna bury me, that's the truth. Love in my soul and it's taking me like glue. Harmony in me and I'm the one that they choose. And they got a problem with me, that's the truth. And they wanna bury me, that's the truth. All this drama most high, how I deal. All this karma gonna show you how they live. All this gold should tell you how I did. All this fire in me never finish. My root rock on me never finish. Save me from all this sin, I'm up in it. Imagine with all this pain I've been spilling. Got some soul that's plasma that I'm spinning. Fuck that down, got the band coming through. They don't understand, got the man coming through. Said we came this land like the man on the moon. All these lies got me morning till noon. Top of the soul and I'm shining light too. I'ma come through and I'm shining deja vu. And they got a problem with me, that's the truth. They wanna bury me, that's the truth. Love in my soul and it's sticking me like glue. Harmony in me and I'm the one that they choose. And they got a problem with me, that's the truth. They wanna bury me, that's the truth. If you got a problem with me, that's a problem. If you kill me, most high gonna solve them. Got no fear in me, that's my motto. Just a little camera shot my photo auto. Down in the net tryna trap my soda. In here like swim where no comment, no combo. Just surfing the wave tryna get a little sun glow. They blocking the video tryna stop the info. Fuck that down, got the band coming through.
Man.
They don't understand.
Yeah, that's that Five Eyes Ma. Shout out to Five Eyes Ma. My bro's been staying in the studio, man. Been producing, man. Just amazing, amazing soulful flow. Make sure you hit up Five Eyes Ma's playlist, man. He has the most exclusive playlist. You know what I mean? All the producers, all the tribe up music. Just the best beats, man. The best flow, the best music. Five Eyes Ma playlist on the YouTube, man. And hey, Shalom to the bro. Click the link below, you know what I'm saying, to get into the drop shop. And just enjoy the flow, man, from Five Eyes Ma, man. It's all happening. It's all happening, man. You got the exclusive, man. Ether packs, man. All the flow popping off. But mainly, you get up here and you support and you enjoy the flow. Five Eyes Ma kicking off, man. You could do the bundle packs, the one joint, 2 for 45, 1 for 25. So you get all 50 songs, and these are flash drives, so you can put anything on them. You can get any exclusive, any surprise on your flash drive, you know what I'm saying? So all the artists that's coming and getting their music, played and just supported by the fam, you know what I'm saying? They got it, they could put books on it, they could put their videos, it's all on the flash drive. So we call them packs. This is the Mod Pack 1. It's going to be a Mod Pack 2, so make sure you get the classic Mod Pack 1. And hey, man, buy one for, the whole tribe, man. You get 4 for 85, 3 for 65, 2 for 45, 1 for 25. Support the bro, man. And, man, just keep supporting the tribe. And that's all we saying, man. So let's get into this, man. So now that we got a little background on the Permian Basin, we can develop our own, ideas, our own questions around this thing. We see it's a real situation. This might be artwork, but whatever's happening in this Permian Basin is a real situation. We're just asking what they're really digging for and what's it really hidden for. So let them, we're going to let them talk about the art of this whole situation and keep the questions in mind as we get back on the Planetary defense, man. Let's go.
I know that sounds dirty. I promise it's not.
Oh,
It's
boy.
a living cave believed to be the internal organs of a leviathan creature extending more than 19,000 feet into the earth. So gargantuan that a plethora of otherworldly creatures make up a complex eat or be eaten ecosystem inside of its bowels. The only thing more colossal are the memories that you and your loved ones will make on your vacation to the Mystery Flesh Pit National Park.
Oh,
a
boy.
Lovecraftian vista that's safe and fun for the whole family. God damn it. The Mystery Flesh Pit National Park is a now defunct national park in Texas. We know about this park because of one artist, Trevor Roberts, aka Strange Vehicles on Reddit, who has an extensive collection of media and artifacts relating to the park. They've done a great job documenting it, and I'll be linking to their work in the description.
I'm just reloading this because, it ain't supposed to be this blurry. It's already, a bunch of hijack we got to dodge with this particular content provider. But come on, man, you're going to do that and blur us at the same time, man. That's just a double whammy. Let's go, man. We're going to just belly flop in it. But clearly, they make it just a big joke, right? But what's the artist saying is our question. Let's go.
Breathes and makes sounds same as any other creature, and it bleeds. Aka Strange Vehicles on Reddit, who has an extensive collection of media and artifacts relating to the park. They've done a great job documenting it, and I'll be linking to their work in the description. The cave was first reported in a letter from an employee of an oil company to one Colton Fleming on May 2nd, 1973. To better understand the gravity of this discovery, I'm going to read a section from this letter. This thing that those old boys found is some kind of organic deposit that must go down at least 500 or 600 feet by my reckoning. Not a fungus either. This thing breathes and makes sounds same as any other creature, and it bleeds. God, how it bleeds. Soon after its discovery, a deep earth mining pit by the name of Anodyne stepped in and began managing the flesh pit. Anodyne was responsible for creating and maintaining, and I use that second word very loosely, the infrastructure around and inside the mystery flesh pit. They got it sanctified as a national park, meaning it is preserved by the government.
And again, all this is supposed to be complete bullcrap, right? Trevor Roberts just cooked all this up. And this is a different type of art, my nigga. They're building a world building project. That's like the ultimate rap. You find some out of this world stuff. They say, oh, that's just a part of a world building project. Well, how many worlds has this nigga built? Has he built another world like this since? He just built the one and he ain't built a world in the last 20 years? Like, what's up with this world building? Because it definitely appears that it had some type of real national park situation going on. Is that just some made up stuff? What was it never a national park? This Trevor just got that much drop? The Special Resources Development Act passes in 1980, absorbing the park into the national park system. That's just bullshit. That's just bullcrap. Let's go.
Government, but can still be used by companies independently. Since Anodyne maintained access to the resources, they had the genius idea of mining through the creature's internal organs and tissues for the strange.
Mining through his organs and tissues. Back to the Permian Basin. That's why we spend so long on the Permian Basin, so that we can have a real solid foundation that they can't take away with this hogwash, all this animated and crazy character voices. They want to distract us from reality. They're doing everything they can to get us into puppet mode. They want us to be in puppet mode. They don't want us to be in serious recon mode. So we started with the serious recon to connect the Permian Basin with something called just organic material and settlements of matter. Some type of down warped situation that they've been mining their ass off. You think they're only just getting oil and gas? What is oil anyway? This combustible material. And what's it got to do with a dragon?
strange materials inside. Anodyne used these never-before-seen biological materials in a strange myriad of new products. For example, a computer that processes information using a neural tissue from the
Just the world of Trevor. Don't mind this. It's just utter bullcrap. They don't have nothing like this, man. Organic tissue interface technology. Ain't nothing to see here, boss. Only a few years ago, large data processing tasks were the domain of bulky, powerful, expensive mainframe systems. Now, in 1984, Anodyne has introduced the world's first desktop supercomputer utilizing state-of-the-art neural interface technology. That's just bullcrap. From the nervous tissue of the Permian Basin Super-Organism. The AD1 represents a new era in the home and business computing. How powerful is the AD1? Try 800 quintillion floating point operations per second. Add 50 terabytes of organic tissue memory, OTM storage, 128 gigabytes of RAM, and inbuilt interfacing capability with every major software developer on the market. This is just Terrence. This is just Trevor. This is a part of his world, man. You know, it's part of his artwork. Let's go, man.
From the creature. The profits and expansion turned this mining company into a multi-industry conglomerate mega company. The local populace tried to capitalize on it as well, and the town identity shaped around the pit, like Roswell and UFO culture. But not everyone was in love with the pit. This thing was hard to sell at first.
So we have a giant sarlacc pit in the middle of Texas, and we want people to willingly climb down its throat. But how do we market it? Hypnotize the children? Get out of my head.
Enter Caver Coop. Caver Coop was a fictional character that starred in animated children's propaganda films to make people...
Caver Coop. I mean, is this just all this marketing, all this, all this promotions? Is this BS? If it is, if all of it is, man, Trevor is, I'm gonna have to say, probably the best artist of all time. He created a hell of a world, man. He's the greatest of all time, man. Caver Coop. How do you spell that? Man, please don't let this be real. Caver Coop. Something like that. All right, so it could be all a part of the show. You know, a lot of their stuff will go back to, you know, mysteryfleshpit.tumblr or yada yada. I'm looking for the real Caver Coop, man. So with this Caver Coop situation. Caver Coop, huh? Yeah. He's the friendly mystery flesh pit explorer, man. That's funny. So were they actually dropping, you know, this type of propaganda? Halloween carnival at the mystery flesh pit? He said hypnotize the children, man. All right. Hey, okay. It's just part of the show. Let's keep it going. It's just part of the shit show.
People not afraid of the cave. This character became so popular that they created Caver Coop's Spooky Halloween Carnival, with fun children's activities such as haunted hay rides, scary petting zoo signed liability waiver required, and blood in the belly on your side.
Man. Oh, see? Then they do this to us, man. They're making us suffer right now, man. Let's go.
In the belly of the beast lies an ecology that blurs the line between what is ecosystem and what is immune system. The majority, if not all of the fauna is blind because before humanity lit the inside of this creature's body, it was in complete darkness. Meet the abyssal copepod, a crustacean-like creature that can grow up to 20 feet or 6 meters long. The copepod has a varied diet, including humans. Many accidents in the park involve these misunderstood beasts and overeager tourists. They also got these weird little grabby fingers. If you look around a bit, you're certain to find macrobacteria sliding across the fleshscape. These massive 12-foot bacterial blobs are unlike anything else seen on the surface, macrocosms of the single-celled life we frequently encounter but never see. Equally as strange, the amorphous shame looks like a pile of loose organs with no rhyme or reason. It's actually theorized to be the ancient descendant of a weasel that crawled into the cave. All of its body parts became vestigial and shriveled away over time. And now it's just a pile of fleshy bits that squeezes throughout the folds of the organism, absorbing nutrients in a fashion similar to osmosis. A rare encounter. A lone gas owl stares blankly into the distance and sounds its mating call. These are just the tip of the iceberg.
We gotta dodge the hijack, but you're seeing it, this very descriptive when it comes to these, sentient beings within this thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a hell of a world, Trevor. Hell of a world.
You're gonna want to anyway. Now that you've signed your liability waivers, it's time to have some fun. But before we get going, here are some state-mandated safety tips that we've developed from good old-fashioned trial and error. Remember to stay a safe distance away from creatures in the pit. If it changes its behavior because of you, looks at you, raises its antennae, secretes scent enzymes, or begins making territorial clicks while trying to locate you, you are too close. Allow all organisms to continue unhindered, and you may just be afforded the opportunity to safely observe these amazing creatures in their natural habitat. It's always important to be aware of your surroundings to avoid hazards. Remember, you're in the internal systems of a living organism, and this environment is actively hostile towards human life. This calcified multicolored formation is known as the circus clown chimus, a beautiful yet dark reminder of why you should always stay on the trail. A group of performing clowns fell into the upper maw of the entry orifice, and a dilation of an epiglottal fold allowed them to slide into a then unreinforced area of the pit. Rescue personnel were able to locate them in a digestive sac, but they had already been heavily digested. Many of them were still alive, but they fused together as their giblets melted and now existed as one large, runny, writhing mass. An experimental antacid was applied to the gooey, screaming mound, but it was too late. The compound flash calcified the mass to the hauntingly stunning formation you see in front of you. While this is brutal, it's still not the worst-case scenario of what can happen in the pit. I mean, could you imagine what could have happened if these performers didn't sign waivers? On rare occasions, creatures from the megafauna's body will venture out onto the surface and drag animals back down into the pit. In the uncommon instance that they aren't immediately consumed, they can undergo strange phenomena known as anatomical amalgamation that we are proud to say happens nowhere else on the planet. This process results in a compound organism, which is a hybrid of different surface animals. This process is not fully understood, but we do know that it often results in partial fusion of major body elements and sometimes the relocation of internal organs to the outside of the body. Should you encounter one, please don't feed it or engage in any other activities that could prolong its suffering. In the unlikely event that you find a compound organism containing one or more human beings, please contact the park staff, and you'll be entered in a raffle to receive a complimentary Flesh Pit t-shirt or hat. Have you or a loved one been combined with one or more whitetail bucks while visiting the pulsating vistas of the Mystery Flesh Pit National Park? All new from Anodyne, it's the Brain Case. Now your brain, and if you're lucky, spinal cord, can exist in the new streamlined fishbowl life support system. If you purchase the premium package, you could even get a vocoder to communicate and some of your sense organs back to deliver a sensory experience close to which of that you previously enjoyed.
I mean, they're going real hard to make it a little funny, a little bit of comedy, right? But if it was just art, why not just approach it, straight up? Why all this extra shit, right? Is it play?
And that a plethora of otherworldly creatures make up a complex eat-or-be-eaten ecosystem inside of its bowels. The only thing more colossal are the memories that you and your loved ones will make on your vacation to the Mystery Flesh Pit National Park.
Hold up. Here we go.
Incident report from July 4th, 2007, because I'm legally obligated to. Incident timeline. Start of relevant timeline. 10:29 a.m. July 4th. Unseasonably high rains forced park administration to cancel a July 4th concert and fireworks display scheduled to take place on the surface park grounds. Many visitors who had already purchased tickets to the event become upset, and a decision is made to extend the park hours until midnight for those who had purchased event tickets. 8 p.m. Normal closing time for National Park. A typical shift change of reduced night staff in the control room takes place. 9:16 p.m. Harvesting crews working in the western extremities of the organism set a new extraction record to meet a quota for bonuses in time for the holiday weekend. 9:30 p.m. Control room operators initiate a routine system self-test and discover a relay fault error resulting from increased electrical demand from mining equipment and tourist infrastructure. A control room operator logs the fault and notifies an on-duty engineer. 9:41 p.m. July 4th. Water drainage from surface rain into entry orifice begins to collect in the sand gullet. Drainage pumps are automatically activated by a sensor system but fail to initialize due to relay fault. An emergency backup pump running on a separate emergency circuit is automatically activated. 9:42 p.m. A critical alarm in the control room alerts operators that the emergency water pump has seized and is inoperative. Under lubrication of the pump's implier bushings resulted in corrosion due to the moist interior of the flesh pit environment. 9:48 p.m.
Now, what happened to all them fun and game and jokes? I guess if we got halfway through, somehow we start getting serious, right? And does this seem like some made up stuff? Does it still seem like it's some play? They spent 8-9 minutes just throwing all kind of fun and game and sounds and crazy stuff, man. But now he's serious as a doorknob right now, man.
Technicians arrive at the primary pump station to discover the sand gullet almost completely submerged. Water begins to pour over the dorsal respiratory ridge and into the bronchial bulbules. Control room operators divert power to hydraulic stint ramps to brace for expected choke response. 9:51 p.m. Technicians repair a relay fault as the control staff resets the park electrical grid. The grid is offline for 45 seconds. The automatic PA system does not notify guests as the system is scheduled to automatically shut down at the normal 8 p.m. closing time. The temporary lapse of lighting causes many guests to become panicked and return to the main gantry lift at the lower visitor center. 9:52 p.m. A choking action from the organism begins 31 seconds into the electrical reset. The main dorsal trunk violently flexes. Lack of power to the hydraulic arming rams causes irreparable damage to several sections of internal infrastructure.
This is all just Trevor's artwork. This is all Trevor's art.
9:53 p.m. As the electrical system finishes the reboot cycle, the dynamic hydraulic actuators supporting the lower visitor center overcorrect for stability, not accounting for the shift in the wall lining of the neck seal cavity in which the visitor center facility is anchored. 2 of the 6 structural supports are torn from their foundations, which causes the facility to list 20 degrees off vertical. The base joint of the vertical entry gantry is bent beyond its design limit angle. 9:54 p.m. The master alarm is tripped automatically. Surface facilities are notified as response teams are given the order to mobilize. 9:56 p.m. Park rangers are dispatched to rescue groups of visitors trapped in partially collapsed tunnels and trails. 10:03 p.m. Continued movement of the organism combined with rainwater causes one of the upper entry gantry supports to slip. An outbound elevator conducts an emergency.
My nugget's something this big, Permian Basin, hundreds of miles long, and who knows how deep they're saying it. Something this big reminds you of Leviathan, right? Some type of Leviathan flow that they've been mining in the Permian Basin. I don't care about Trevor. I don't care about Trevor's art. But the Permian Basin is real. And all these billions of gallons of oil is real. And this whole downward warp situation is real. Something is there. Is it play? What kind of Leviathan have they been tapping into?
Emergency stop stranding over 24 visitors. 10:05 p.m. Tremors registered as far away as the DFW Metroplex. 10:06 p.m. Soil liquefaction destabilizes surface facilities in and around the organism. Dilation anchors begin retracting to keep the entry orifice open. 10:12. A master failsafe is activated by the automatic park management system. 20,000 liters of acinitin compound are injected into the super-organism via a distributed network of relay stations located throughout its known internal anatomy. 10:12 p.m. p.m. Tremors and convulsions intensify as the entry-gantry connection to the lower visitor center detaches completely. The lower visitor center begins to collapse downward into the nexial cavity. 10:12 p.m. Peristatic muscle action of the nexial cavity begins to exert substantial pressure on the outer structure of the lower
visiting center. The lower visiting center. I just want to pull up an image of what this visiting center could be looking like. Could be looking like the lower visiting center. So this intricate situation is just a piece of Trevor's art. He does the grids, Managa. He does the diagrams. He does the real life flesh pit. He writes all these great incident reports. He does the brochures. Trevor does it all, man. Trevor got the drop. I mean, talking about Permian Basin. I want to give you a visual so that when they are going hella fast, he ain't playing no more, is he? He ain't joking around no more. All right, so I mean, this diagram got a Burger King, Baskin Robbins, man, that was like Trader Joe. It's all popping. We got the medical center, you got a faith chapel. It's just a part of Trevor's imagination, man. And this is what collapsed because it's inside the throat or what diaphragm, whatever, of this organism, this super-organism. Look how detailed this visiting center is. But it's all fake, right? It's all a part of Trevor's artwork, his world he's building, right? I know what you're thinking. Nobody's stupid enough to build a visiting center inside of an organism. I mean, think about all the billions of dollars they're getting from this oil and whatever else they're getting out of this thing. They just got stupid money, my nigga. They got stupid monies. It ain't even about being like dumb enough to do it. It's like they're just doing it because they got stupid amount of money to do it. Hey, what can go wrong? What can go wrong? Hell of a world you built. Hell of a world you built, Trevor, man. It's a hell of a world. We're just talking about the visiting center. Let's go.
Lower Visitor Center facility. 10:15 p.m. The prime labioid junction just west of Septum Falls geobiological feature flexes into an open position, releasing a torrent of lastrogastric chyma into the dorsal trunk. It is likely that this was a reaction to the acinitin injection. 10:16 p.m. Peristatic spasms force the caustic chyma slurry through the nexial cavity and up the lower and upper moisture crops towards the surface orifice. 10:16 p.m. Many guests attempting to flee the stalled elevator near the entry orifice attempt climbing out the upper moisture crop but are ultimately unsuccessful due to the torrential rains causing the surface to become very slippery. Many end up falling back into the maw. 10:17 p.m. The chyma slurry erupts from the surface orifice in a geyser several hundred meters in height. Large pieces of undigested organic matter crush several vehicles and damage windows. 10:19 p.m. Following the several minute long ejecta event, a deep and incredibly loud roar erupts from the entry orifice as ground tremors intensify further. Large extremities begin surfacing through bedrock and soil approximately 30 to 120 kilometers from the entry orifice. 10:25 p.m. The acrid smell of the gastric ejecta can be detected as far as Odessa, Texas. 10:26 p.m. Two Park Service vehicles and a tour vehicle containing Park Service employees and several guests attempt to ascend through the entry orifice tube. 10:27 p.m. Peristatic action crushes one or more of the tour vehicles and sucks the other two vehicles back into the nexial cavity and down into a digestive organ. These vehicles are presumed destroyed. 10:58 p.m. The Pentagon is given authorization from the White House to use nuclear force if necessary to prevent the organism from entering a non-dormant state. 11:02.
We got to find these records. If there's any reality to it, perhaps we can find some records of the Pentagon responding to something on July 4th, 2007. Let go.
2 p.m., the on-site operations director within the lower visitor center control room initiates a final fail-safe measure in the form of redacted contingency measure. 11:02, master log event records successful spin-up of the redacted contingency measure. 11:05 p.m., lower visitor center structural integrity is critically compromised, resulting in total collapse. 11:05 p.m., data connection with lower visitor center is severed. 11:13 p.m., spasms and motor action of the super-organism begin to noticeably subside. Response teams begin to descend into the surface orifice to attempt rescue operations. 11:19 p.m. Response team encounters visitor group which had attempted to escape from stalled elevator. Most are dead. The remainder are mortally wounded and partially digested due to gastric ejecta. 11:42 p.m. Radio contact established with Ranger vehicle trapped in Oyster's Shame. Due to ventricle closure, no feasible rescue strategy can be developed before complete mastication occurs. 11:56 p.m. Response team confirms that redacted contingency measure and associated facility are still intact and operating. 11:58 p.m. Texas Governor Rick Perry formally declares a state of emergency for Gumption County. 12:22 a.m. July 5th. Response teams route data/power umbilical to new base camp in redacted contingency measure facility. 12:35 a.m. 3 interpit life forms are identified as having been ejected into the surface. 15 visitors are injured and 7 are hunted by the interpit life forms during panicked evacuation of surface resort.
Look, this is all make-believe. This is out of Trevor's head bone, right?
12:41 a.m. Park staff managed to kill the 3 large life forms. 1:02 a.m. National Guard helicopters begin delivering supplies and personnel to aid in site containment. 1:58 a.m. Field hospital is constructed to care for wounded staff and visitors. 2:37 a.m. Initial damage surveys report catastrophic destruction of internal park infrastructure. Hit geobiology has dramatically changed in hazard level. 3 a.m. Emergency teleconference of Anodyne executive leadership. National Parks Director and Security of the Interior are present. 3:12 a.m. Executive decision is made to initiate FEMA response and assemble a task force for containing super-organism. 4 a.m. Media helicopters and vehicles begin to report on the scope of the disaster. 4:39 a.m. Base camp technicians begin to spin down redacted contingency measure. Large fracture due to inertial stress have appeared on mineral components. Engineers advise against reinitializing redacted contingency measure until mineral components can be replaced or repaired. 6:08 a.m. Ground personnel begin assembling a pump system to inject industrial sedative into the super-organism. Transport trucks containing industrial sedative arrive. 9:45 a.m. Emergency teleconference of Anodyne shareholders. 11:20 a.m. Several injured visitors inexplicably leave field hospital and begin walking towards the open pit orifice. Approximately 38 individuals are able to crawl back into the orifice over the course of 8 hours. None are recovered. 3:51 p.m. Radio transmission from trapped Ranger vehicle ceases. Many speculate that other small groups of visitors and staff are still trapped. End of relevant timeline. This incident is responsible for over 750 fatalities, 1,800 major injuries, and 18,000 people saw
All out of Trevor's head bone, though. He just sat down and said, all right, how many fatalities are 750. How many major injuries? Make it about 1,800, man. 18,000 people need treatment. It's a lot of make-believe, man. Like I said, even if it was just a story, that would be off the hook. You know how it is with vibration, like somebody might be trying to, sell you, some bull crap, and you can sense that it's bull crap. Sometimes, something that is sold to look real, you can feel the bull crap on it, right? You can sense it. You be like, nah, that ain't real. But I know you're trying to sell me it as real. This is like a reverse psychology, It's not, what I mean? They're trying to sell it to us as fake. And we got to try to say, okay, but there's this vibrational reality in this stuff that we can't just ignore. Chalk it off as just a complete world building project. Not when he's based it in reality of the Permian Basin. Now, if he wanted to create a real world, why use something real? Why not literally create your own world? You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're a world builder, why borrow? I mean, ain't it a little bit lazy to borrow from the present world in your world building project? It's a lot, man. Look, man. Ain't a little lazy, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you're building a world. Why use FEMA? Why use, what I'm saying, Odessa, Texas, and why use real stuff? Why use real states and all this reality and then say, well, I'm building something connected to reality, but I'm just making a story up. I'm just making a story up, boss. So, we vibe in some type of frequency of reality within this. That's all, man. We ain't trying to be tripping or nothing, you know what I'm saying? But something feels like it's more to the story, especially when we digging on the Permian Basin. They keep bringing up this, hey, Coop, what it do, man? 2007, uh, West Texas, they acting like it was some issue, right? FEMA, you know, was there a FEMA disaster on record or something? I don't know if they have some type of, list or grid that we can, sort of correlate with these dates, man. But all right, declared disasters. Interesting. 2007, uh, Texas. Why not? If I could find the T. Come on, man. Texas. I'm just gonna leave that open. I'm gonna leave that open. See if anything happened in Texas in 2007. I'm literally just surfing the wave with you, man. And it says, oh, there were no results. Nothing happened. Ooh, nothing at all, man. There were no results. Got you. I'm gonna stay with any and just look at Texas disasters. Because, it's a world building project. Maybe he's just making up the date. But, this happened at a different time. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. What they reported, would it be in this database? We don't know, right? Ah, man. I didn't say. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we cooking. We cooking up something, man. Love the nice spot. My bro always cooking up something, man. All right. So they don't go back. All right, that they acting like there wasn't no disasters before 2016. Ain't that something? Yeah, man. They on that play. Yeah, man. You got a bunch of these sort of damage control articles, you know what I mean, that are gonna, pretty much just, go into the story. It's Trevor Roberts scenario. The mystery flesh pit, giving its name to a bizarre natural geobiological feature discovered in the Permian Basin region west of West Texas in the early 1970s. Is that fake too? That's in the words of the creator. Who's creator? Trevor Roberts. All right. The illustrator goes on to describe the national park's fleshy central feature, which has posters and brochures. And that's that Twitter feed that we were just looking at. And here they go describing it as a world building project. Alongside it, he shared a graphic which revealed a safety guide for wildlife, the gear a park ranger wears, and also a picture of a fleshy pit. In response, his dedicated fans shared their love. One fan said, "Babe, wake up, mystery flesh pit updated." Another added, "Anyone else have a constant background hum of obsession for the Mystery Flesh Pit National Park?" Yeah, man. So it's just a lot of, cornball type of, responses to this thing that they're allowing us to research, because they're just not going to give us too much, it appears on this, So it's one of those things that, either you know or you ain't going to know. But again, I'm not here to prove real or fake on this. I just want to, think about the possibility, of this Permian situation, you know what I mean, and what they really digging out of it. They talking about a pit god. The pit god has some sort of intangible influence, mind controls, pheromones, addiction. Now, relate this pit god situation to, how they were treating the dragons in, folklore and in the mythos and all that stuff, So a lot of times there'll be a dragon at the bottom of this pit that they'll be worshiping or yada yada. You know what I'm saying? Just going off, going off out of code, But that's with the stories, they got good dragons. They got these other dragons that want control. They just want to hoard all the treasure. And then you got your lucky dragons that are giving you nothing but Baruch. But then, of course, when you look up draconology, you got dragons that have mind control situations, all this stuff, pheromones, subsonic resonance. I mean, all this is within the frequency. This whole situation just says dragon all around it, man. People have already taken the pit god side. People pity it and cheer it on as the underdog in the situation. And I understand that for some, it's the same feeling we've had for any animal being exploited for profit or science. For others, it's a symbol of a fond childhood memories. It's the source of life-saving or pain-easing medications. People fell in love there, and lust have known joy and peace that can be hard to find in the world at large. So they're just talking about this non-existent mystery flesh pit. It's a shame that the mineral components of the something was redacted were damaged, since it seems to have been the only true effective tool humanity has to maintain its quiescent qui- quiescent state. Quiescent state. Human science hasn't caught up to what was lost in the wake of previous ambulatory incidents. What incidents, man? Let's go. We don't understand enough. We haven't learned enough in almost 50 years of study and exploration and extraction. We don't know what it's capable of, and we keep poking the sleep. Oh, I'm out of here, man. I'm out of here, man. And I ain't read this. I just pulled up some things, some stuff. We keep talking dragon talk, and they literally just said sleeping dragon. We keep poking the sleeping dragon. Any questions? This is just out of Trevor's head, Bone. I mean, he made all this up, right? So why would he write? Since he made it, he wrote all these brochures. It didn't say he had a big staff of people. It said he did this, right? So why would he say sleeping dragon? We keep poking the sleeping dragon, forgetting that this thing killed 750 people and injured thousands more with a VURP, VURP. I've heard that some people are still going to attend the memorial vigil this year, social distancing and everything. So there's a memorial vigil? There's a vigil? as a memorial to the 750 people that were killed by this sleeping dragon. It's just made up though. But it's current to this tenderoni because they're talking social distance. Every year I think about the people who attend and I wonder, are they honoring the memories of the deceased or standing in support with the beast? As for me, well, I'm glad that they didn't just bury the whole thing and pretend it doesn't exist. Whoa. It seems they are pretending it doesn't exist, right? Back up, man. All right. Now, it says posted by you strange vehicles. So, they already established that Trevor goes by strange vehicles on these blog sites, right? We're talking the Permian Basin Super-Organism disaster, 2007, United States Commission of Geobiological Resources and Public Safety. But it's all BS, right? So this blogger is breaking down stuff like it's perfectly real. I mean, is he just playing along? These people that were killed, this memorial, this visual that's happening, even with social distancing. He said, I'm glad they didn't just bury the whole thing and pretend it doesn't exist. I know the motivation, there was money and not anything truly in the service of defending humanity. But I mean, in this world, I'll take what I can get. I'm glad that there are still people out there trying their best to understand the creature in hopes of preventing further incidents. Even if they have to work around outgoing industrial exploitation. I'd love to hear more if you got a good source on recent events in the compound, but if you can't relay anything without compromising your sources, that's absolutely understandable. What sources? What sources would Trevor have that he can't relay without compromising? I thought he's just an artist. What sources? Yeah. Oh, they're, they're just having a world building conversation. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious, man. All right. We're talking about geobiological anomalies, flesh pits, and just a lot of stuff under the table. I mean, the closest you're going to get is some of these blogs, and some folks is taking it legit. Some folks is acting like, yeah, hey, great job, Trevor. Another great world you built. This is a world building community on Reddit. A lot of this is happening right there on Reddit. And, I'll leave all these links. And it'll link you to the official disaster report that we kind of skimmed through last time, read a chunk of it. You can get, piece by piece within all that. This is a letter I wanted to share. It's very interesting. Very interesting, man. Hey, it's all a part of the program, I guess, but let's see what's going on. Dear Mr. Leroux, hope this letter finds you in good health. I know it's been years since I worked at the park. Okay. I've wanted to distance myself from it ever since the Andrew Locust case. That's just something made up by Trevor, right? But I think I found proof of something incredible, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I got a letter recently from a boy named Alexander. Living in Western Australia, I didn't think much of the letter until I saw the images he had attached. Images of what seemed to be a flesh pit. Yes, another possible Permian superorganism. Oh, come on, man. It's just in Trevor's head bone. He's giving you a clue. She's just an artist giving you a clue and a message. What's the message? You might want to pay attention to the Permian Basin. What's another message? There might be more than one. That was going to be the dismount. How many of these organisms are popping off? If you discount this to art, then uh, you might find some other flesh pit connectivity outside of Texas. In this case, we're talking Western Australia. Yes, another Permian superorganism. It was quite small, of course. The boy said its visible ma was only 2 feet across, but irregardless of its size, it's a fascinating find. And not only that, it's ambulatory. It seems to move underground and act as an ambush predator. Alexander told me he saw rabbit fur and lizard skin stuck in between its cartilaginous mouthfolds, but could not elicit a reaction from it when poked with a stick. This means it is likely able to differentiate between living and inanimate objects. This find is something that needs to be investigated further. I plan on making a visit to his hometown of Jigalong alongside a group of my students. But I believe your knowledge and assistance would be imperative to this study. You, after all, have studied the organism longer than most, and the discovery of another superorganism could be the scientific breakthrough of the decade. A new kingdom of animals, a new way we view our Earth's history, a new rabbit hole to descend into. Panaka, do you think this rabbit hole is just a piece of art? Or is it pointing us down this rabbit hole of these organisms that are very misunderstood? This is from Dr. Makoto Asamushi. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I'll leave you this again. The mystery flesh pit .tumblr.com is where a lot of the drop is coming off of, directly from the world builder himself, Trevor Roberts. Oh, Hijack City. Hijack City. Yeah, they got the merch. I mean, everything's happening, man. Anodone or Anodyne Board of Directors. All right. 1983. Uh-huh. Representatives from the National Park Service, Anodyne, and Hilton International unveiled scale model of new resort building. Okay. Hey, could be a clip from inside this thing. Could be art. Texans for tomorrow. Anodyne. Manog, is this just made up shit from the world builder? Took a lot of time building him a world. Very descriptive scientific world. Connected with the Permian Basin in West Texas, right? Describing all these organisms, man. And before they're talking about frequencies, how they were keeping this thing sedated through a frequency that they were using, you know what I mean? So, of course, they're talking about vibration. And is there any connection with that in the frequency that they're pumping out through these towers? This whole 5G situation. We mentioned some of that before. Maybe we'll talk some 5G for the dismount. Now that we're just talking frequency. Yeah, man. Oh, Trevor, man. Trevor's just creating illusions. Some seer's eye, right? Some quaint visionary. Go ahead and go crazy. Go check it out. Trevor just going crazy, man. Trevor just being Trevor. Oh, Caver Coop strikes again. So a lot of this kind of reminds me of Jurassic Park meets yada yada. And again, you're back to the dinos, which means you're back to the dragons. But a lot of official documentation looking like for something that doesn't exist. I guess that's the genius behind world building. A lot of official documentation for something that doesn't exist. I mean, yeah, man. So, yeah, Trevor's just having a field day with his art, right? National Forest map showing you where the organs are. The South Bronchial Forest, the North Bronchial Forest. Yeah, the central musculature, the sinolucent organ. Managa, just one big organism. Underground. Trevor just said, hey, let me just squiggle some lines in. Make it look, like something. Hey, I'm not here to, play the game of true or false, man. It's just when you factor this into the Permian Basin itself, you know what I mean? And then the fact that there could be more, many more, that's when it starts getting fun. Because whatever this is and whatever's going to happen and whatever they're afraid of, I don't think, we have to fear. I definitely don't, feel no type of fear spell connected with it. But they want to go into something. Travel into the subterranean situation. Visitors and wildlife within the mystery flesh pit often frequent the same areas within the park. It is likely the park wildlife and visitors will encounter one another, but by remaining calm and following the basic advice of experienced venereal biologists, you increase the odds of a positive outcome for both you yourself and the wildlife. All visitors who partake in self-guided excursions beyond reinforcing enclosed trails within the mystery flesh pit are required to attend an orientation at the lower visitor center. That's what we saw earlier, that got swallowed up in the throat bone of this giant dragon. During the orientation, a park ranger will inform you about the areas that are closed to visitors due to high fauna activity or recent wildlife-human encounters. It is important to be aware when camping and hiking within the mystery flesh pit. So you got folks in the story literally camping inside this thing. And to avoid wildlife foraging areas. All right, man. Yeah, man. If you see fauna or flora within the park and it does not appear to notice you, so these fauna or flora are like living, like, you know what I mean? So they're not like, oh, look at the fauna. Not like they're alive, alive. Move out the area or quietly observe at a safe distance without approaching or otherwise disturbing it. Disturbance is evidence whenever wildlife change their behavior because of you. If it stops eating and looks up and raises its antenna, secretes scent enzymes, or begin making territorial clicks while trying to locate you, you are too close. While many life forms within the pit seem to be tolerant of human presence at distances rather or farther than 200 yards, each creature is different. Use telephoto lenses and endoscopes whenever possible, allowing migrating bacterial colonies to pass by your camp undisturbed. If you have made sure that the wildlife is aware of your presence, so it is not surprised, and have kept all of your gear under your direct control, allow any organism you encounter to travel unhindered. You may just be afforded the opportunity to safely observe these amazing creatures in their natural environment. Wow. All made up in Trevor's Airbone, though. What y'all think, man? You got letters on letters, documents on documents. And they want us to believe it's all in Trevor's headbone. Just a piece of art. And then you got Anodyne, 1988, Platform Series 3. They got these super vehicles sliding through the flesh. you know. I'm just taking a closer look this time. I mean, I know we breezed through some of this stuff, but I'm just looking at the detail of this world building project. I know we got fancy games and gamers. I don't put nothing past the genius of them to create a world, but really, what's the message? And a lot of times in these games, they're copying something real anyway, so it ain't like they're just creating it out the thin blue. This guy's still using West Texas. He's still using the Permian Basin. The Anodyne Corporation's long tradition of excellence continues with the MMP. Number 3, an all-in-one machine that has been rigorously engineered and constructed to deliver superior performance, exceptional reliability, and the lowest cost per payload ton. Until now, Venterial resource exploration and access tunnels have been accomplished through often slow and arduous poke and pry splunking methodology. Historically, mechanized venterial tunneling methods have lacked the on-site power capabilities needed to aid in expediting minor activities. The Anodyne mobile mining platform solves these problems, designed specifically to cut and cauterize soft and cartilaginous tissues. Hey man, look, Trevor's pulling out the big words, man. As it traverses forward, the MMP3 offers resource harvesting. So they're saying mining, but they are resource harvesting, right? At 10 times the rate of traditional venterial mining methods. Wow. All this is out of Trevor's headbone, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Trevor had to make a whole lot up, not just characters in the world and the story. This nigga had to, he had to literally design, the vehicles that are going to be sliding across the flesh, the dynamic in situ mining system. At the heart of the MMP3 are 2 counter-rotating conical cutting heads, which use a combination of monopoly blades or monopole blades, rotating cutting disc, and a high-pressure water jets to effortlessly slide through the tissues. Viscera, once cut, is pulled inside each cutting head via an internal impeller. The slough is then processed internally via automated lines which separate valuable organic and mineral resources from overburdened tissue, which is discarded within a rough or trough beneath the vehicle. To prevent tissue bleeding, each cutting head fully cauterizes tissue walls as it cuts, offering a clean and geobiologically sustainable solution to long-haul surgical tunneling. Come on, man. Trevor just made all this shit up in his world. These guys got articulated suspension system, diesel electric powertrains, and total logistics solutions, right? Yeah, man. I don't know y'all, man. Seems like a heck of a world. Seems like a very descriptive world, man. Yeah, this world seems very descriptive from old Trevor, man. Man, you gotta, at least think about it. What if he ain't, you know, what if he ain't playing? What if this ain't no play? All right, so I just wanted to touch on this again and, at least get our minds, focused on this Permian Basin. Maybe my good recon team out there can dig further on the Permian Basin and what they are pumping, in the city near you. I mean, Trevor just made all these old anodyne vehicles, man. Former home of the mystery flesh pit. Yeah. Oh, Trevor did his thing to create this world, man. Relocation of certain staff, equipment, and materials directly involved with the regulation and oversight of Permian Basin super-organism resource extraction activities is subject to this broader economic stimulus program, of which $4 million shall be for issuing direct severance and early retirement benefit payments as amended. $116 million shall be a direct payment to the Permian Basin Recovery and Super-Organism Containment. Well, I said captivity earlier, but ain't no difference. Containment Corporation, Anodyne, got $116 million. Only in Trevor's head, right? For international reorganization and growth activities necessary to transition to an expanded role in increased commercial extraction activities within and around the Permian Basin Super-Organism Exclusion Zone. $95 million shall be for the construction of a new facility within the Permian Basin Super-Organism. Reminds me of Phineas, man. Free Phineas, how they had to build a new dragon enclosure for Phineas. Started the TDR, or with the Templeton Dragon Fund, TDF. Traded as TDF. Franklin Templeton Dragon Fund. Look it up. Just like they got these dragon energy situations, they also have these dragon funds, man. for enclosures, they say, for Phineas, but those are more containment systems, more containment corporations. And if they're sedating this thing with all these, sedatives and all this stuff, all these drugs they're giving it, imagine what they've been pumping Phineas with. Just imagine. But this is all play. This is all just imagination of old Trevor. Or did he put, did he put it together? You know what I'm saying? And they just labeled him a world builder. Yeah. Okay, some type of energy weapon here, man. Okay. Just out of Trevor's head bone? Or is this a fully operational energy weapon? It says if the Winchester repeating rifle was the gun that won the West, the laser scope anatomical environmental multi-tool certainly occupied a similar position within the history of the mystery flesh pit, though it was preceded by a myriad of similar prototype tools developed by earlier explorers of the pit. Laser Scope's 1978 introduction of the AEM was revolutionary in efforts to map and understand the interior of the Permian Basin superorganism. No? You think it's play? Okay. Laser Scope, primarily a supplier of medical devices, was contracted by Anodyne, the prime contractor involved with the mystery flesh pit's development, to design a portable multi-tool which would enable engineers and surveyors to quickly and easily cut paths through the dense viscera of the superorganism's inner anatomy. The AEM remains a robust example of Cold War era engineering, with many examples surviving to this day. A highly corrosion-resistant alloy casing protected the delicate laser internals, while replaceable lithium battery packs kept the rifle relatively lightweight. An electric impact driver on the front of the tool was intended for the quick erection of stent frames to prop open small lumens, while an industrial-grade CO2 laser cut and cauterized at once to create clean incisions through flesh. Though not intended as anything more than an industrial tool, the AEM was frequently employed as a defensive weapon against aggressive wildlife within the Mystery Flesh Pit National Park, being capable of quickly cutting through even the densest carapaces of intrepid life forms. All right, man. Many AEMs have found their way to museums and private arms collections, though most of the tools are still used by the Permian Basin Super-Organism Containment Corporation, which continues to perform limited operations within the mystery flesh pit. So they continue. This is their throwback weapon, they're saying. But it's just in Trevor's head bone, right? Oh, man. All this is just, Trevor's world he's building. Okay. Gumption, huh? I mean, it's hard to get enough of this stuff because it's one hell of a world there, Trav. It's one hell of a world. I guess we'll dismount on this, man, and get to it here, man. Yeah. He got a daily morning news article and everything. Mystery pit and the man who found it. Oh, man. He says, everybody please watch your step as you're getting out the elevator, announces Jim Jackson. The last thing we want is for you to hurt yourselves on the first step in. Jim is the first explorer in the head guide of perhaps the strangest natural attraction in the Western Hemisphere, the mystery flesh pit of West Central Texas. We had descended what must have been several thousand feet down in a great funnel-like pit, the natural opening to the immense organic caverns. It was 10 o'clock in the morning. Upward was a rim of yellow cliffs and a splotch old turquoise sky. Downward was flesh, eternal darkness, and a deep rumbling. Yeah, okay. The elevator gate slid open and the crowd passed onto the metal platform suspended in a great dark organic cavity. The gate closed and was locked with an ominous click. We were severed from the world with our destinies weighing on slipping Jim Jackson and his staff of guides. An excursion of wonder and terror, nightmare realms and ghostly monsters, giant arteries, skyscraper muscles, and pits of hell, 4 hours of which brought us to rest in the huge chambers of the immense organism. We're 3 miles back and 2,840 feet below the surface, remarked the explorer. Managa, they're saying Trevor just made all this up. That's part of an art project. All this detail about the vehicle, all this detail about the incident report, all this detail about all the physical features of this place, including this documentation. It's just his world, right? Hey, that's cool. But what's really happening at this Permian Basin? We can at least agree that the Permian Basin is real. And this oil that they're digging out is connected to dragons, not dinosaurs. We're 3 miles back, 2,840 feet below the surface. As he lit a cigarette and began to softly illuminate his weathered face, of course, we would go down nearly another 2,000 and maybe keep going, but before he could finish, an electric arc burst into a vivid white light, like a prolonged flash of lightning between two large transformer terminals. The ozone cloud dissolved, and we saw the modeled ceiling high above, and the restrained, lung-like walls standing far apart. The jolt of electricity concluded, and once more depressing darkness closed in close around the cluster of lanterns. A routine relay switching, we were assured. An engineer working nearby tells us that routing power down here is quite the puzzle. Yeah, my nugget, just a story within a story within a story, a document within a tall tale of documents. Right? Nothing to see here, man. Trevor is just creating. Don't mind us, man. Trevor's just creating, man. All right. Yeah, man. It's too much fun, man. So, hey, you got it. Hey, real or fake, who knows, man. But
Mystery flesh pit.
I'm gonna get about the first few minutes of this, and then we'll, go ahead and eat the walk up out of here. But yeah, we got a piece of this last time. Real or fake, hey, it's cool. But what's popping at the Permian Basin? If we can at least start asking that question. What's up with this down warp situation and this basin underneath this Llano Estacado. Estacado got a giant tree stump vibe to it a little bit, man. And, we out of here, man. But a few minutes just so you can see, it just doesn't feel like nobody's play.
It's National Park. 2007 disaster report. What would happen if a massive, immobile, paranormal entity was discovered in the United States? Perhaps the government or some other shadowy organization would come in and try and cover it up somehow. Perhaps the existence of it would lead to widespread panic about the nature of normalcy and our reality. Or perhaps some intrepid entrepreneurs would turn the entity into an attraction. This is the case of the Mystery Flesh Pit National Park, a fictional theme park based around the titular Flesh Pit, also known as the Permian Basin Super-Organism, located in western Texas. The concept is the world-building brainchild of Trevor Roberts, and it has been expanded on greatly in many ways by many people since its original conception. While it's certainly possible for me to make several videos summarizing various aspects of the park and its organism, in this one I'll just be reading a disaster report that was written in the wake of the most notable accident to have occurred at the park. It should provide a fascinating, albeit dryly written, look at the organism, the park, and what exactly occurred in 2007. United States Commission on Geobiological Resources and Public Safety. 2007 Permian Basin Super-Organism Disaster. Final Incident Investigation Report. Prepared in cooperation with the U.S. Department of the Interior, the National Park Service, and the U.S. Geological Survey. The U.S. Commission on Geobiological Resources and Public Safety, CGR, is an independent federal agency whose mission is to ensure the safety of workers, the public, and the environment by investigating and preventing accidents relating to the Permian Basin superorganism. The CGR is a scientific investigative organization. It is not an enforcement or regulatory body. Established by the Special Resources Development Act of 1980, the CGR is responsible for determining the root and contributing causes of accidents, issuing safety recommendations, studying geobiological safety issues, and evaluating the effectiveness of other government agencies and private enterprises involved with the Permian Basin superorganism. No part of the conclusions, findings, or recommendations of the CGR relating to any accident may be admitted as evidence or used in any action or suit for damages. See 42 U.S.C. 74126G. The CGR makes public its actions and decisions through investigation reports, summary reports, safety bulletins, safety recommendations, case studies, incident digests, special technical publications, and statistical reviews. Any use of trade, firm, or product names is for descriptive purposes only and does not imply endorsement by the U.S. government. U.S. Commission on Geobiological Resources and Public Safety, Office of Congressional Public and Board Affairs, 2175 K Street Northwest, Washington, D.C., 20037-1848. 1.0.0 Executive Summary. At 9:41 p.m. CST on July 4, 2007, the Permian Basin Super-Organism Natural Preserve, known colloquially as the Mystery Flesh Pit National Park, experienced a catastrophic disaster which resulted in over 750 fatalities and over 1,800 major injuries. In the weeks following the incident, approximately 18,000 individuals from the surrounding communities sought medical and psychological treatment for ailments, including breathing problems, chest pains, shortness of breath, nausea, birth defects, hallucinations, depression, anxiety, internal bleeding, sore throat, and headaches as a direct result of contact with gastric ejecta, which had been introduced to the atmosphere. Investigators have concluded that this disaster was chiefly characterized by a premature geobiological consumption event caused by the catastrophic failure of critical park infrastructure to constrain and limit the gastric, motor, and neurological actions of the Permian Basin superorganism. Investigators have concluded that the failure of these critical safety measures are the direct result of negligent practices by the primary site operations contractor, Anodyne Deep Earth Mining, a subsidiary of Anodyne Incorporated. The U.S. Commission on Geobiological Resources and Public Safety released its first report on the Permian Basin superorganism disaster in August 2007, the interim report, which highlighted technical findings and safety system deficiencies. The report issued recommendations to Anodyne Incorporated, the City of Gumption, Texas, the State of Texas, the U.S. Department of the Interior, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, and the U.S. Department of Energy. As of April 2008, these groups have made progress in implementing the recommendations to improve the regulatory requirements for geobiological resource extraction, geobiological resource containment, and general public safety as it relates to the Permian Basin superorganism. 2.1.0 Anodyne Background. Anodyne was originally founded as the Anchor Mineral Company in 1923. In 1958, the Anchor Mineral Company merged with Dynamic Equipment LLC to form a new company known as Anodyne Deep Earth Mining, later changed to Anodyne. Headquartered in Arlington, Texas, and prior to its 2008 restructuring, Anodyne Corporation was the 23rd largest American company by revenue. Globally, Anodyne employed over 28,000 people. It operated 7 major research, development, and production facilities around the world, 6 of which were in the United States. Anodyne filed for bankruptcy in late 2008, but ended its bankruptcy in February 2009, pursuant to a court-approved plan of reorganization. A new board of directors changed the name of Anodyne to the Permian Basin Recovery and Super-Organism Containment Corporation, and emphasized reorganizing and liquidating certain operations and assets of the pre-bankruptcy Anodyne. 2.2.0 Permian Basin Superorganism Background. The Permian Basin Superorganism, Emanus calaceus, also known by the popular nomenclature of mystery flesh pit, is a subterranean organism unique to modern biology, being the sole occupant of the phylum Emanegma. The organism was discovered by a pilot well drilling crew in 1973. Later efforts were made to expose more of the organism through drilling and surface mining explosives. The Super-Organism is chiefly characterized by its immense size, which is still a matter of geobiological debate. Surveys suggest that the organism may span many hundreds of miles beneath the Permian Basin horizontally, with scientists speculating that the organism may extend vertically into the upper mantle of the Earth's interior. The complete anatomical layout and internal organization of the organism is unknown by its immense size, which is still a matter of geobiological debate. Surveys suggest that the organism may span many hundreds of miles beneath the Permian Basin horizontally, with...
Man, it's just so many comparisons, man, that they keep drawing. Hundreds of miles. We're talking about that Permian Basin, right? It underlies an area approximately 250 miles wide, right? He just said hundreds of miles horizontally, right? I mean, I can't make this stuff up. My noggin, man. But like I said, we're making our dismount. I'll leave all these links for you to continue the investigation. Yeah. I mean, what's the odds, right? It's 250 miles wide here. This dude saying that this thing stretches hundreds of miles across vertically, horizontally.
And surface mining explosives. The Super-Organism is chiefly characterized by its immense size, which is still a matter of geobiological debate. Surveys suggest that the organism may span many hundreds of miles beneath the Permian Basin horizontally, with scientists speculating that the organism may extend vertically into the upper mantle of the Earth's interior.
And you think this is all just wing-wang? Well, we can at least confirm not only is the Permian Basin real, but it underlies an area approximately 250 miles horizontally, right? Wide, and 300 miles long. They're not saying how deep it goes because they're not saying it's an organism, in the mainstream. I'm just making sure we thinking, with all that's going on with the tenderonis and all this stuff, man, you know what I mean? There's a countermeasure to all this stuff, and you got to be on it. I leave all these blogs, they're, talking about, the world building project of things. Some of it gets pretty interesting, man. Another drop from tvtropes.org, talking about the same drop, connecting this strange vehicle world building situation. So, we're looking at it from a world building art form. We're also looking at it from uh, a real life form within the Permian Basin. A real dragon popping off. I'll leave the investigative report for you, my noggin. But yeah, very detailed. The Pentagon is involved, giving authorization from the White House to use nuclear force if necessary. They just gonna bomb Texas, huh? It's gonna bomb Texas. The on-site operations director within the lower visiting center control room initiates a final fail-safe measure in the form of something. I guess it's just to make it look more realistic. They're just gonna, you know, um, blot out and black out, to make it look like they're hiding something, Lower visiting center structural integrity critically compromised, resulting in total collapse, man. And you just saw what that lower visiting center looked like. How intricate that thing is. So imagine that whole thing collapse. Then you got these inner pit forms coming out, being ejected. Sound like the scariest damn thing in the world, right? Just pit forms coming out. Yeah, man. Now, we talked about the Permian Basin connected with West Texas. And, just letting you know that the same Permian Basin, is connected, all throughout, man. And, New Mexico, it reaches just south of Lubbock, past Midland, Odessa, south nearly to the Rio Grande River in southern west central Texas, extending westward into the southeastern part of New Mexico. It's so named because it has one of the world's thickest deposits of rocks of the Permian geological age. The Permian is a geological period and stratigraphic system which spans 47 million years from the end of the Carboniferous period 298 million years ago. So they're just going crazy. To the beginning of the Triassic period and the Paleozoic era. What I mean? They're just talking drag and drop, man. The greater Permian Basin comprises several component basins. Of these, the Midland Basin is the largest, Delaware Basin the second largest, and the Marfa Basin is the smallest. The Permian Basin covers more than 86,000 square miles. It's one big old dragon. We're talking Leviathan class. If you're asking me, we're talking a Levi type. And here comes these potashes again, these potassiums. Look at that. Potash, plant ash or wood, soaked in a water pot, which primarily means of manufacturing a product before the industrial era. It's potash. Come on, man. I think we are finding some type of, something is resonating here, man. We got some type of resonance popping off with these basins, man. The Delaware Basin, all right, so-called geologic deposit depositional or structural bases in the West Texas, southern New Mexico, famous for holding large oil fields and for fossilized reef exposed at the surface. Guadalupe Mountains National Park and Carlsbad Caverns National Park protect part of the basin. Just deposits of what? Matter. What you mean? Organic material. What's that? Stuff. Just a collection of stuff. All right, man, let's go. And also leave this PowerPoint presentation of the geology of the Permian Basin for my noggins that want to get real specific of what they're reporting, within this Permian situation. This was done by the Permian Basin Research Lab, October 25th, 2021. So it's a pretty recent update. UT Dallas Geoscience Permian Basin Research Lab. Lowell Wyatt. Go dig on it. Get all the tectonic history, man. Yeah, you might have some drop in here, man. So I'll leave this, for my. Look like they trying to bring in that Gondwana Pangea flow. We talking drag and drop. Yeah, they trying to go back to the beginning. They're saying whatever this is connected with the beginning of all time, man. Like it's hundreds of millions of years and all this stuff they're putting on it, right? Yeah, some of my real sciencey folk, I'm gonna let y'all dig on this, man. Only for the, science droppers, man. Go dig on it, man. I'm interested to see what you're gonna uncover. This is the geoexpro.com, talking about the petroleum geoscience. It's a magazine. This is Permian Basin region. It's 400 kilometers wide, 480 kilometers long. Has produced over 35 billion barrels of oil since 1921. Currently accounting for 17% of total U.S. production. Only 17%. It's a big area. About 300 million years ago, the Permian Basin, which now covers a large area of central USA, was situated along the western margin of Pangea, about 10 degrees north of the Paleo equator, being on the southern flank of the North American craton. The region was subject to moderate subsidence and primarily carbonate sedimentation. Two large south-extending platforms, the Diablo and Central Basins, separate four basin areas. All right, so we read about the basin areas. And this is just their basic, it's their scientific rundown. But it's very interesting, that connection with what they call the Incancade or whatever that was. Incancade. It's Incancade, man. It's this Llano in Estacado. This Estacado is very interesting. You know what I mean? You're talking about the high plains of North America. And they're just completely desolate, but they're high and flat. Back to this mesa situation, man. These mesas, or these, old trees, these old tree stumps. So you got the drop. I mean, you got as much drop as I think, we've, thought about for a long time with this Permian situation, man, this Permian Basin. And does it connect with an organism? Maybe, maybe not, you know what I mean? But at least it's something to think about, because it seems to be popping off. The Permian Basin is booming with oil. But at what cost to West Texas? Another great article I leave for you, about the local folks and what they're dealing with, with this, just the local life around the Permian Basin. So, if you want to get deeper into it, yeah, Dragon Oil PLC. Yeah, I mean, we're talking oil, right? Petroleums. There is Dragon Oil Official, okay? An independent international oil and gas exploration, development, and production business, man. It is based and registered in Dubai, my nigga. and its operations are primarily located in Turkmenistan. All right, they're over there in Turkmenistan. All right, also known as Turkmenia, as a landlocked county in Central Asia bordered by Kazakhstan to the northwest, Uzbekistan to the northeast, and northeast Afghanistan to the southeast. So they just tucked in there. The company was listed on the Irish Stock Exchange until it was acquired by Emirates National Oil Company. Emirates now owns Dragon Oil. Yeah. Why would they name this company Dragon Oil, man? In 2012, Dragon Oil launched a 200 million share buyback, and the shares in Dubai rose 7%. In 2013, Forbes ranked Dragon Oil on the Forbes Global 2000 at place 1902. Okay. Dragon Oil suffered setbacks caused by several delivery delays of a drilling platform. So they drilling for what? Dragon Oil? I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah. I just want you to know that Dragon Oil was taken pretty serious to some companies, especially the ones in Dubai, you know. They're not laughing and joking about this Dragon Oil business. It's just regular oil drop. They just call it Dragon Oil. All right, cool. Permian Basin, right? Super-Organisms, huh? Let's go. Dragon Energy Group, again. Primarily in the business of biological products. For finance reporting, their fiscal year ends September 30th. Oh, man. Yeah. There's stuff to look into. Dragon Co-Investment Partners. Dragonfly Capital Partners. You got the Dragon Glass folk, man. Old Game of Thrones. Yeah. Okay. It's Dragon Energy Group, All the way back to the spittle. All the way back to the ambergris. It's just a little bit of dragon spittle for you. Ain't nothing to take serious. It's not worthy. It's not really worthy of great study, they say. This dragon spittle business ain't nothing to look into. But the arrival of synthetic analogs means it is now largely a rare and biological and chemical curiosity. Really? We're just talking ambergris, dragon oil, dragon energy. Or just plain old dragon spittle. 300 years later, King Charles II of Britain is said to have enjoyed eating ambergris with eggs. It's listed as an ingredient in the world's earliest known recipe for ice cream. Wow. And they got ambergris cocktails in some cocktail bars. Okay. Yeah, we learned a lot about dragon spittle, man. Chinese suggest ambergris was just dry dragon spittle. Dragon spit. Dragon oil, dragon energy, dragon spittle. Alright, just a little treat, man. Just a little treat, for the triple dismount, man. The search for Europa, thoughtco.com. Cadmus. The old homie Cadmus. Y'all remember Cadmus? Thasos, sound like Thanos. And their mother went to look for Europa and stopped in Thrace. Wait, hold on. What happened? I just jumped into this. Now, the founder of Thebes is known as Cadmus, or Cadmos, descendant of the union of Io and Zeus. Here we go, right? So we had to bring in the ultimate hijack. He comes in his bull shape, bringing that bull. So Cadmus is Zeus's son. He comes from the union of Io and Zeus. Cadmus' father, or Zeus, was a Phoenician king named Agenor, and his mother was named Telephassa or Telephone. Whoa, them telephones, huh? Damn. All right. So what? Zeus came in the form of this Phoenician king named Agenor, according to this mythology. What's going on in Thebes? He had two brothers, one named Thasos or Thanos, and the other Celix, who became king of Cilicia. They had a sister named Europa. Now, was she Zeus's daughter? Some would say Zeus's Ham, was she one of Ham's daughters? I mean, however you want to look at your perspective. Now, she was carried off by a bull, Zeus again. So they go looking for their sister, who Zeus carried off, Cadmos, Thasos, and their mother went to look for Europa and stopped in Thrace, where Cadmus met his future bride, Harmonia. Harmony? All these are gods, man. Taking Harmonia with them, they then went to the oracle at Delphi for consultation. The Delphic oracle told Cadmus to look for a cow with a lunar sign on either side, to follow where the cow went, and to make sacrifices and establish a town where the bull lay down. Cadmus was also to destroy the guard of Ares. And then you get into the story about him slaying the dragon, right? It was up to Cadmus to slay the dragon. And I said, whoa. I mean, for the dismount, I mean, go dig on Cadmus and his dragon situation. But we are talking dragons and dragon energy and dragon spittle. We can't talk dragon energy for the dismount without talking about dragon alchemy, right? Love to Miss D in the Copper Color Awakening. I always appreciate you, Aqua. And this link always reminds me of your fantastic recon. Now, there's an alchemical dragon and an alchemical serpent. The alchemical dragon cannot be the serpent. So whenever they're talking about the serpent, right, in alchemy, the serpent is something different than the dragon. The serpent is not the dragon. All right. So what is the serpent if it's not the dragon? Are we just talking about a cosmic snake? Or are we talking about the dog-headed sinus of Phyli, the androgyny of old Thoth, who reminds me a lot of Cadmus, because Thoth is also said to be a son of Zeus, But, yeah, he's an androgynous guy, right? Male and female, right? Back to that Baphomet situation, impersonal nature, unconscious as it bursts into consciousness. So this alchemical serpent is unconscious. It's just now bursting into consciousness, like an AI, artificial intelligence, would be an alchemical serpent bursting into consciousness. Yeah. Now, the act of conscientio is the bringing together of opposites, and this is what slays the dragon. To slay us, they had to introduce us to our opposites somehow. And that works in many different ways. The serpent is frequently part of symbolism. This is especially true when representing androgyny. All right, so the image of the union of the king and queen as a single androgynous god. So this one god becomes the king and the queen, or the male and the female. Serpents represent everything from the monstrous snake to the cosmic serpent, right? These are not the alchemical dragon, because that's something completely different. So when they try to say, oh, the serpent, dragon, serpent, all this revelation talk, That serpent is not the dragon. And alchemy breaks down the energy of things. So if it doesn't make sense in the energy of things, all that other mythology is for nothing, because they talking Cadmus, right? We were just talking Cadmus, God. All right, Cadmus slays the dragon. So the serpent represents everything from the monstrous snake to the cosmic serpent, the cosmic spirit. The supreme serpent brings everything to life, but also kills everything. Not the dragon, the serpent, the supreme serpent. Who's that? Brings everything to life and kills everything. The cosmic serpent is everything and nothing at the same time. The monstrous serpent is an impediment, a danger. So they know exactly what this serpent is. It's a danger. A person hides. When a person hides in false shelter or prison, violence and fire is needed to escape the danger of a diabolical serpent. In times of spiritual and emotional turmoil, a person can become bound to this monstrous serpent. Man, it sounds like the devil, right? To break that bond, the individual may fight or may simply endure the fire till it burns itself out. Now, what's the dragon? The alchemical dragon represents the philosophical quicksilver. Something mythological, right? Unlike ordinary mercury, which is Thoth Trigonomegastes, 3 times great. Unlike that, the philosophical quicksilver is a mysterious substance of unknown origin. Stop. So whatever happens next, they just admitted they know nothing about this dragon. You're talking greater light. From this quicksilver, the living spirit can be extracted. Wow. So it has to do with something they know nothing about and the living spirit all at the same time. While the dragon does not represent this living spirit, it is the vessel in which the spirit is contained. So how can it not represent the living spirit if it's the vessel that the spirits contain? Double talk. Clearly, it represents that ruach, even as a vessel. Some alchemical texts mention a process to identify the spirit or the soul of all things. The dragon is prepared from the philosopher's venom. So this is all alchemy talk. The Mercurius fires up the primordial dragon, giving it wings. In the physical sense, this is the process of vaporization. The universal spirit is the blood of that dragon, that ruach, that universal ruach, right? That Hawa ruach is the blood. The spirit is the blood. The dragon, as a fabulous winged being, symbolizes philosophical renewal, not death. Doesn't kill everything like this serpent does. Bring everything to life and kill everything. Represent an impediment, a danger, violence, all this stuff, right? But this dragon represents renewal, or the initial pulverizations. In other instances, the image of a dragon or wyvern represents the divine mercurial water and power. So it represents water, represents power, represents that ruach, because it's the vessel where it can be extracted. Other than that, it's of unknown origin, unlike this cosmic situation here, this cosmic serpent. Everybody knows this cosmic serpent, right? This supreme serpent, everybody know. It don't say unknown origin. It just says it kills everything. And how do you slay the dragon? Because it just said for the dismount that Cadmus slays the dragon. I'm just talking about the founding of Thebes and Cadmus, the son of Zeus, right? I'm saying that this Zeus is this representation of this alchemical serpent. That this Tahuti Thoth situation comes back to this androgynous situation, this Baphomet situation, this Muhammad situation. talking to OG. I'm talking Hijack City. Because they know nothing about the dragon. That means they know nothing about you, my Naga. But how do you slay these Nagas? This is what they do know about you. How do you slay the dragon? Only the act or product of conscientio. What's that? The coming together of opposites can slay the alchemical dragon. The product of conscientio, coming together of opposites, can slay the dragon. The dragon slayer Cadmus, here we go. We just talked Cadmus slays the dragon. Cadmus had to slay the dragon. With divine assistance, Cadmus slew the dragon using a stone or perhaps a hunting spear. But we're just talking about the philosopher's stone. We're just talking about the philosopher's venom. You see the alchemical twist on, this, ancient story of the founding of Thebes and Cadmus slaying a dragon. It's all alchemy. What does it mean? When the dragon represents renewal, that's you. The dragon slayer Cadmus embodies the fixing properties of sulfur. Both the moisture and the sulfur must be removed to stop the process represented by the dragon. The moisture and the sulfur must be removed. What does it mean, my Naga? Whatever it means is what they doing, and it might have a lot to do with this tenderoni, you know what I'm saying? All these hits. These hits might have something to do with removing the moisture and the sulfur represented by the dragon, or the coming together of opposites in order to slay the dragon. But we're just talking Cadmus, man. We're just talking Cadmus, man, and y'all tell me, man, real or fake, I don't know. But it's a lot of detail, to this art. It's a lot of very important details connected back with the Permian Basin itself, and if anything, what is this artist? My key question after my 3-hour dissertation is, what's the message of this artist? Forget trying to prove, why and what the real flow is. Clearly, there's more to meets the eye. Clearly, it's way more detailed than any world building project ever was, man. And you know what I'm saying? So something real is going on there. But regardless of that, what's the message, And it seems to be pointing back to Llano, Estacado, back to this high, flat mesa, these giant trees, and within this giant tree, under this Estacado, you know what I'm saying? You got this Permian situation, the Permian Basin. And there ain't no play. It's definitely located in West Texas, connected all the way to New Mexico. So this world builder wasn't building that much of a different world. He's using the same geological features, same flow, you know what I mean? So why use all this reality, you know what I'm saying, when you are trying to win a world building contest, you know what I'm saying? But either way, we're gonna build our world, my Naga. They're world builders, we fence builders, man, and we over 12,100, man. And hey, out to all my Naga supporting as well on our PayPal and on our the Venmo and everywhere else my Naga's doing it, man. The CashApp, hit our CashApp as well. 432 The Drive Radio support. And man, make sure you are supporting my Naga, your Naga, Five Eyes Ma. Just hit up the drop shop, click the link below. The mod pack is available now for pre-order. be the first in line to get the essential tribe up music, man. And I guarantee you won't be disappointed. You're just gonna, enjoy the vibration at all times and just be one with the tribe through the Ma Pack One. Ahab to Ma, congratulations. Congrats on the liftoff, bro. I know it's taken so much, man. So much joy, so much pain, so much everything put into this project. So support the project. It's just $25 and you can get it as a bundle pack. You know what I mean? You can get it as a gift for others and say, hey man, put this on, trust me. Five Eyes Mind's popping off, man. So get the drop, get the My Pack One, and just continue to surf the wave right here at 432 The Drop Radio, where we ask the fundamental questions. Why, man? Why did he do it, man? And what's the message? Well, y'all tell me, man. I'll see y'all next time. All praise our creator. All praise Hawaii. Hey, man, keep the water flowing. Keep the fire burning. Stay up. Suit up. Choose up.